6000.
Charlie Harder here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast water heater.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
We live in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and owning your own deck is a great way to enjoy it. But finding the right decking solution can be overwhelming. That's why all 9 of our Puget Sound locations offer decking showrooms so you can get your hands and toes on the more than 60 decking options we carry. So if you have any questions about building, maintaining, or repairing your deck, contact me personally, Mike Dunn at dunlumber.com.
Fiber on decking is now available at Dunn Lumber, your deck headquarters.
At Carter Subaru, your drive begins with savings. With over 300 new vehicles in stock, shop your way, in-store or from home. Plus, when you buy from Carter, you support our community. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard today.
Your best source for local news, KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Peter King. 2 of the 6 people wounded in yesterday's Florida State University shootings are expected to be out of the hospital shortly. The accused gunman is still hospitalized. Fellow student Reed Seabold says the suspect was a disruptive member of a school political club.
He continued to espouse white supremacist rhetoric.
Police say the gun he's accused of using belonged to his stepmother, a sheriff's deputy. CBS's Anna Schechter.
It's unclear if his stepmom would be liable for anything. I haven't found any laws, and I've been looking all morning, that she violated because of the way federal gun laws are. They're relatively loose. Now, remember, after Parkland, the state did pass laws making it more difficult for young people to purchase handguns or long guns, but that didn't apply here. We don't know that he purchased a gun at all. He was able to obtain it from his stepmom.
A vigil for the 2 people killed and 6 wounded will be held on campus tonight. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is trying to help an improperly deported migrant get back to the U.S. from El Salvador. The courts have said he should be brought back, but El Salvador's president has claimed that he's powerless to do so.
If the government of El Salvador remains complicit in the illegal detention of Mr. Abrego Garcia, then there will be, I think, actions proposed, certainly, to take until we resolve this very important issue.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia has no criminal record, but was caught up in ICE roundups. The Trump administration claims he's a terrorist and a member of the MS-13 gang. CBS's Scott McFarland.
The Trump administration saying Senator Van Hollen should instead be meeting with victims of crimes by undocumented immigrants versus with one.
Attorneys for hip-hop producer Sean Diddy Combs have asked a New York judge to delay his sex trafficking trial. CBS's Katrina Kaufman is at the courthouse.
This is a conference leading up to his trial, which is currently set to start on May 5th, but Combs' attorneys this week filed asking for a 2-month adjournment. They say that they need more time to go through all of this evidence.
Weeks after releasing tens of thousands of documents about President Kennedy's assassination, the Trump administration has now released about 10,000 pages of documents pertaining to the assassination of JFK's brother. Robert F. Kennedy was known to most as Bobby. He was a New York senator running for president when he was shot and killed in June 1968. He was also the father of the current head of Health and Human Services. The National Archives has posted all those documents on its website. The markets are closed for the Good Friday holiday. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A school wrestling coach arrested for allegedly sexting with a teenager. The story coming up at first from the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk. In the Lakewood area, the disabled vehicle's been moved from I-5 northbound near State Route 512. If you're heading north in Linden, northbound State Route 539 is completely blocked right now at River Road for police activity. Other than that, you are wide open. Travel times Everett to Seattle, 24 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 26. Renton to Bellevue, 18. And your lake bridges are clear. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. An Auburn middle school wrestling coach arrested for alleged sex crimes involving a teen.
The 64-year-old coach is accused of sexually messaging a 14-year-old girl on his team and convincing her to send nude images and videos, reports KIRO 7 TV. Auburn PD spokesperson Colby Crossley says he could face 3 felony sex charges.
This is something we do not take lightly ever when it comes to sex crimes against juveniles.
The teen allegedly told a teacher about the messaging, and that teacher reported up the chain, leading to the arrest. In a notice to families, school officials said the suspect is no longer an employee. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
A former Sumner High School coach has been sentenced to 40 years for sexually abusing 8 players. KIRO 7 TV was in court when one of Jacob Jackson's victims said Jackson took his youth.
My innocence, my sense of security, and my ability to simply exist as a teenager without fear or shame.
Jackson coached between 2016 and 2022. A group of Gig Harbor parents is considering suing the Peninsula School District after the popular principal at their children's elementary school was moved to a different school. Minter Elementary PTO President Jessica Gamble.
The kids and parents are devastated. We're deeply concerned about how this impacts our kids' education moving forward.
The district says reassigning principals is standard practice. Governor Bob Ferguson is warning Democrats who control the legislature that their budget relies too heavily on raising taxes. He says that's risky in the face of federal budget cuts. More from KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get without saying the word. But this is a great indication that, well, we may be head for that special session if we can't get the governor and the Democrats to agree.
The current legislative session ends in 9 days, and the state still needs to find a way to fix a projected $16 billion budget gap. The Seattle Mariners rally late in Cincinnati, coming back in the 9th inning thanks to home runs.
Back-to-backers by Cal Raleigh and Randy Arozarena. We are tied at 7.
The M's went on to win it in extra innings, 11-7. They start a 3-game series against the Blue Jays in Toronto this afternoon. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today with highs around 70. It's 52 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Oh, yes, it's Fresh Fridays here on the Gee and Ursula Show. April 18th, beautiful day. As my girl Ursula say, it's a Chamber of Commerce day today. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning. I'm going to go even further than that.
Okay.
I think this day, weather-wise, might be the best day we have so far in 2025.
Okay.
What do you think? We're going to hit low 70s?
Yeah.
Potentially?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's sunny. It's a Friday. It's happening at the right time.
Happy Good Friday.
Yes.
To everyone. It is Easter weekend.
Yes.
What's some of your plans? Are you cooking? Ursula, you cooking?
No, but as usual, we did not get in on figuring out where we would go for Easter brunch early enough.
Yeah.
Because you need to do that months in advance.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at Easter dinner. But it's all good. 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Coming up at 9:30, we have a good news story about graffiti, of all things.
Okay.
That's coming up finally. And then at 9:47, there is a restaurant coming to Seattle that you are all excited about.
And you're not.
Me, not so much.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why I have no plans on stepping foot in there. But maybe I'm wrong about this.
Yeah, you can't judge a restaurant by its name.
Okay.
All right, Ursula, let's get to your top stories of the day, brought to you by Bath Fitter Northwest.
Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank is asking ICE and the Trump administration for help after the county council affirmed its sanctuary policies. The council passed a resolution affirming its sanctuary status. And among other things, it says that local law enforcement should limit its cooperation with federal immigration enforcement agents in order to protect low-priority immigrants from deportation. Important to note, it does not stop them from turning over those who have committed serious crimes. But Sheriff Keith Swank says the council left him out of the conversation entirely.
They're passing this stuff without talking to me, without having a conversation or anything with me. So obviously they don't care what I have to say, and they're against me. So I'm ready to fight fire with fire.
On KTTH's Jason Rand's show, the sheriff said he wants to work with ICE to round up people who are here illegally. But he also worries about retaliation.
I don't know where it ends. Like I just said, are they going to come and arrest me, put me in jail, lock me up? Are they going to come take me out of my office at gunpoint, send the WSP to come arrest me? I don't know where it ends. I'm just going to stand up and do what's right, Jason.
Now, during this interview, Jason asked him if there are serious issues right now in Pierce County because the county doesn't work in tandem with ICE.
To be honest with you, I haven't seen it come up since I've been the sheriff. That's been 3 months. So, I mean, it's not like we're not out searching for people, but now that he started doing this thing, maybe I will start going out searching for people, you know? So to say, look, we weren't concentrating on doing anything like that at all. We were just going about law enforcement, and then now this stuff happened. So they're coming after me. So, you know, what am I going to do? I might just go out and enforce these immigration laws and with the federal government then.
Okay, share your thoughts. I no place found them saying in this resolution that they were going after the sheriff.
You heard that? Okay. All right. There's a lot of things because I know some of you all are thinking that I'm going to go there, and I'm not. I'm not. You can go ahead and say thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not. So what I'm going to stay on topic with, Ursula, is this. He says buzzwords in there. Fire with fire. He says, come at me. What are they going to do? Come at me at gunpoint? He says, as if there's some attack and fight towards him. And then when they go to ask him, like, can you please just play the beginning of that sound? When they go to ask him if there has been any problems or anything, you go ahead.
To be honest with you, I haven't seen it come up since I've been the sheriff. That's been 3 months. So, I mean, it's not.
Stop right there. So I haven't seen it come up. And my good friend Ursula always says the saying.
He's got a solution, looking for a problem. Well, he's looking for a problem. I think he wants to get in there as someone who is not just super MAGA, but he is going to basically get back at those who didn't vote for him. And he even mentioned that in this interview with Jason.
Absolutely, it was intentional. The executive didn't want me to be the sheriff. He made it clear during the election campaign. The county council members, the Democrats, they don't want me to be the sheriff. You know, almost every politician that was elected was against me and for my opponent. So, of course, it's intentional.
And now he's hurt. His feelings are hurt because they didn't include him in the discussion about reaffirming its status as a sanctuary county, which, again, does not mean that they're going to bar local law enforcement from arresting people who are here illegally and have committed serious crimes.
When you think of a sheriff, when you think of a sheriff of a county, you tell me you think of someone who gets up there and says, the executive didn't want me. Nobody wanted me. I'm going to say something that I cannot believe I'm going to say. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Ed Troyer would never. I had my disagreements with Ed Troyer. Ain't no doubt about it. You guys know that. I'm on record saying what I did not like about Ed Troyer. But Ed Troyer didn't sound like a whiny baby like Hot Tub Sheriff does.
Help, help, I'm being repressed.
Wait,
Sorry. One quick
Chef with the sound
quite serious note.
Okay, wait. I'm thinking you bring up hot tub sheriff, and the reason we're bringing it, in case people are like, well, what's the hot tub got to do with it?
I try not to say it.
He had a contemplative moment in a hot tub when he decided it's time for me to run for sheriff. I mean, it worked for him. He got elected by Pierce County. You live in Pierce County, so your neighbors voted for Keith Swank, even though everybody, the Pierce County executive Republican, the sheriff, everyone said this is not someone you want as your sheriff.
I was told, I'm not going to say who, I was told by somebody really and said, Gee, you're going to miss Ed Troyer. Told me that. I said, what? When Swank won as sheriff of Pierce County, I was told you're going to miss Ed Troyer. I couldn't believe they said that. Now listening to him whine like this, they didn't want me, and they didn't want me, dude.
So now we're going to look for a problem and try to round up some people just because. And my thought, and I know that he listens to the show, or folks in his office listen to the show, I would suggest going back into the hot tub, having another contemplative moment, and trying to figure out how can you work together.
Ursula.
Yeah?
What's going on with you today? I
know. I've learned how to be somewhat petty. Okay, hey, let's talk about this, a very serious story. A former Sumner basketball coach has now been sentenced to 40 years for raping and sexually abusing some of his players for years. His name is Jacob Jackson, and some of his former players and their families were in court yesterday. They detailed some of the horrifying abuse at the hands of Jackson and the devastating impacts.
My innocence, my sense of security, and my ability to simply exist as a teenager without fear or shame.
One mom said she feels like she failed as a parent because she didn't protect her son from all the abuse.
I somehow failed to recognize over a 2-year period of time is that you were grooming, communicating inappropriately, molesting, and raping my son. For that, I will never forgive you, and pray that someday I will forgive myself.
And this audio was courtesy of King 5 News. The only time Jackson expressed emotion in court was when he pleaded with the judge for a lighter sentence.
I am forever sorry for my actions, Your Honor. I ask you for grace and mercy, a second chance on life to prove that I'm a changed man. Please.
40 years.
He didn't get enough. They should have gave him 80 years. He should never see the light of day again. But you know what? I'm not just about to use this time to talk about him. I want to use this time to remind everyone. Hear me out for a second. The first complaints came in 2018. Nobody listened. 2019. Nobody listened. 2020. Nobody listened. 2021. Nobody listened. Matter of fact,
talking about it within the district. No one listened.
I used to see people on Facebook talking about it, and people. Wait, hold on, Ursula. There would be people inside the community and would come and, oh, he's a good man, and oh, he didn't do that, because right now, for some reason, depending on if we know that person, depending on if we share the same politics, we will always fight and give a pass for that person. This is why some of these sickos run free. Because a lot of times, there was report after report and still almost slipped through. There were families that didn't think that he would be held accountable for this. There were people that were afraid. This topic makes me so upset because it happens time and time again. Sick monster who probably also knew that the power, he had all the power because he's the coach, right? And not only does he have access, but he has power to determine how much play time these players have, how much attention they have, and completely abused this position where they trusted him and the parents trusted him. And my heart goes out to that mom who said, I will never be able to forgive myself for not recognizing that. And finally, there were 3 players in 2022 who got messages and told their parents, and then all of the crimes came to light. And grateful for their courage, Grateful for those families that did not stop, right? And I hope that some of the people that defended this monster, I hope that they make right on that as well, right? Because there's a lot of people that was defending this. It bothers me in the news all the time. We are reminded that some of the people that we trust our children with could be the same ones that caused the most harm. They were going to this man's house doing yard work. He was saying things to them, saying this is a lifelong pact. You got to take this to the grave.
Complete grooming and absolute
And he
abuse.
wants to cry and ask for leniency? No, player. Get out of jail in 40 years, and then you can talk about leniency.
Yeah, the prosecutors did ask actually for an 80-year sentence, and Jackson's attorneys had asked for 10. And so the judge said 80 years is excessive, but the facts of this case warrant an exceptional sentence, and that's why he got 40, which the families are actually happy with. A group of Gig Harbor families is now threatening to sue the Peninsula School District because of a big principal shuffle. And we get this story live now from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Yeah, this is really a story that has a lot of facets to it, but what we're really concentrated on here was this is about something that a lot of school districts do around the country and whether it's a good idea or not. So here's what happened. The Peninsula School District is reassigning principals for more than half of their 17 schools to different schools starting July 1st. In an email to families, Superintendent Creston Barr said the move is designed to bring fresh ideas to schools, to help them address unique challenges they face, and to help expand principals' leadership skills and experiences. However, these family members at Minter Elementary School say they do not want their beloved principal, Todd Herring, to go anywhere. So 40% of the students at Minter come from lower income families, and families say Herring knows what these kids in this community need to be successful, and the kids love him, the staff loves him. But the district says, they want to leverage Herring's skill set to help address challenges related to things like harassment, intimidation, and bullying at a different school now. PTA President Jessica Gamble at the school says, but they're worried the district is going to swap out their principal for someone who's not nearly as qualified. And she says there's got to be a better way.
Ideally, I'd like to see principals who are thriving at a school stay put, and I'd like to see the district support, coach, and if necessary, remove other leaders that are not doing well.
So the only other point I'll make here is that there's been so many studies on this issue as far as school leadership. The district points to, in their email, one such study from the Wallace Foundation. That's an educational philanthropy foundation that says when districts rotate leaders, they're more likely to strengthen school climates and boost student achievement. Well, I looked at the same study, and I also found the inverse. The study also says replacing an above-average principal with a below-average principal results in an additional 2.9 months math learning and 2.7 months of reading learning each year in that specific school.
Luke, thank you so much for covering this. This is fantastic. And Ursula, this is one of those things where the Peninsula School District is playing with fire. And I'm sorry, who knew a principal swap would lead to a possible legal battle? Now, you want to talk about raising the stakes? That is what we are. I am so grateful when you see families that are passionately advocating, right, for their children's situation. They are advocating. They're basically saying to everyone, Ursula, we don't want this swap. We love our principal. Oh, hold on. Time out. How often
do people go to bat for the principals?
Come on now, Ursula. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not a normal thing. We've been doing this show for 5.5 years. We haven't done this yet. They love this principal so much. Obviously, the principal loves it where they are. Look, I would argue that what you got?
Well, I just was thinking, the thought of rearranging deck chairs came to mind. And sometimes it's like to show that you're doing something, you just move everything around. Okay, now we're all better without actually having an impact. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't know, that just popped up in my head. Like, why is the district doing all this,
Solution in search of a problem.
Solution in search of a problem, and sometimes you need to just let them be.
I just hope the school district listens to their families, because
they listen to lawsuits. Right? What got into you this morning? I don't know. I got 2 more hours of sleep. It's Friday. It's going to be the most beautiful day we have. so far this year.
Mic dropping.
Luke, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, But Luke, I like that shirt you wear today, bro.
Oh, thank you. Up on my camera, I stand up a little bit.
Yeah. Good.
I wore matching shoes too, but I'm not going to show you those.
Speaking of cameras, y'all want to see what Luke looks like? You want to see what G is wearing right now?
Come on.
Hey, who knew? We're on YouTube.
That's right.
Live.
We on YouTube?
We're on YouTube live. And you can comment on YouTube. Be kind, please.
I tell you what. I'm going to go to YouTube. If you guys go to YouTube as well, look up the KIRO Radio, the Gee and Ursula Show. We're live right now. I'm going to go to the comments.
You want to see what G is?
I'm going to go to the comments and all that and do that good stuff. Hey, real quick, can I tell y'all something that I did yesterday?
Yes.
It wasn't good, y'all. So as you all know, I had the honor to be the MC for a campaign launch yesterday. And this campaign launch was actually yesterday, and it was on the 50th anniversary of the tragedy in Cambodian history. That's when Khmer Rouge captured Phnom Penh. So check this out. In the very beginning, I set it all up, and I was talking about it. Let's have a moment of silence. We did the moment of silence, and then I had someone else come up and do that and all that. Nobody said anything. Well, there was a speaker that I introduced, and it comes up to speak. And he stops his speech, and he looks over at me and says, oh, by the way, I grew up on the east side. It's not Khmer Rouge, it's Khmer Rouge. I was saying Khmer. And I learned it was Khmer. And I was like, it broke my heart to do that. Now, I've been doing this a long time. As you all know, I can make fun of myself, but the folks that were there, they were so gracious. They were like, hey, that's okay, no problem. But I just wanted to tell you, Ursula, your boy did a moment of silence and butchered that, so I messed up. All right, that's all I got. Coming up next, Ursula's in a good mood today. Want to know why? Because there's something positive to do with graffiti. We do that next. Gee Ursula.
State officials say there's a $12 billion hole in the budget, and fixing it is an emergency. But just a few years ago, the state had a budget surplus just as large. And only a few months ago, state government added billions more in spending. Tax collections are at record high. Some state officials say tax revenues are below average. Not quite adding up. To see the numbers for yourself and learn more about the state budget, visit budgetbreakdown.org. That's budgetbreakdown.org.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Christians around the world are commemorating Good Friday. At the Vatican, Pope Francis continues to recover from double pneumonia. It's unclear if he'll participate in Easter Sunday services. Vigils are planned today at Florida State University, where police say a student opened fire yesterday, killing 2 people and injuring 6. Still no motive for that shooting. The 20-year-old suspect was shot and taken into custody. The U.S. Supreme Court plans to hear arguments in May over the federal court rulings that blocked President Trump's order ending birthright citizenship. One of those orders came from a federal judge in Seattle.
Republican and Democratic administrations have long opposed this idea that one federal judge can set policy for the entire country.
CBS's Jan Crawford says that's essentially what the justices will be debating, not whether Trump can stop babies born in the U.S. from automatically becoming citizens regardless of their parents' status.
All the lower courts are in agreement that Trump is wrong.
Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank says he'll fight the county council's plan to reaffirm sanctuary status that protects migrants. Swank tells KTTH he was not consulted.
But they're going to pass a resolution that doubles down on Keep Washington Working, which I believe is unconstitutional.
Swank says he may also join a controversial federal immigration enforcement program. At least 23 international students at the University of Washington have had their visas suddenly revoked. University officials tell KIRO 7 TV they were not warned ahead of time. They're urging affected students to contact International Student Services immediately. The Washington State Senate just passed an across-the-board 50% hike in every type of liquor license in the state.
That affects every brewery, winery, bar, nightclub, grocery store, even day spas that serve alcohol. Supporters say some fees haven't seen an increase in 40 years. $18 million could be raised over the next 2 years. Opponents say this will hurt already cash-strapped small business still recovering from pandemic closures. The bill now heads to the House, where it'll need to move quickly if Democrats want to use it to plug the state's budget hole before the session session ends on April 27th. Matt Markovich, KIRO News Radio.
The markets are closed on this Good Friday. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in SeaTac, the crash has been cleared from the south 188th on-ramp to northbound I-5. You have either heavy traffic or construction on State Route 18 that has you slow from the Tiger Mountain Summit up to I-90. And if you're headed north in Linden, police activity is blocking a lane on northbound State Route 539 at River Road. Your travel times are overall great. Everett to Seattle, 24 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 26. Renton to Bellevue, 18. And your lake bridges are clear. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today with highs around 70. It is 52 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show on this most beautiful Friday morning. And hey, we've got a question for all of you who are listening right now. Gee?
Yeah, the Cambodian population, I need to hear from you specifically. So I told the story. I was at a campaign launch yesterday for Salong Chun, good friend of mine. And in doing so, I was the MC, and I started it off by obviously talking about what happened in Cambodia 50 years ago yesterday when Pol Pot and I said Khmer Rouge.
Which is the only way I know it.
When they took over Phnom Penh. So, and then later on, somebody told me that it's Khmer Rouge. So I need help because I want to get it right because I felt so bad. I told Ursula, I told Chef, like, oh my goodness, I did a moment of silence and I messed up that moment by calling it Khmer Rouge.
You shared what it was here on the air, so we heard it for the first time on the air, and now I'm like, have I been saying it wrong this whole time?
So what is the correct pronunciation? And a lot, by the way, the Cambodian population, a lot on the east side of Tacoma. Right? If you're listening to the show, please text us 888-973-5476. What is the correct pronunciation? Is it Khmer Rouge?
Because maybe you didn't need to make an apology.
Or Khmer Rouge?
Okay, yeah. So we'll find that out because we have very, very smart listeners. Okay, let's talk about graffiti because it's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Always.
And so I love this story because two of Seattle's most notorious taggers are finally hard at work cleaning up graffiti all across the city. So one of the tags that you've probably seen is Eager. The person behind that is Casey Kane. The tags can be seen all over the city. He has been charged with several felonies. Prosecutors estimate he has caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. And he was ordered to spend 80 hours cleaning graffiti as part of a 2024 plea agreement. Mm-hmm. Not enough, in my opinion. But now he's still cleaning up. He did that, but he's still cleaning up, and he's actually getting paid for it. So Casey and another former tagger, Jay Volkman, now have a graffiti removal business called The Buff Man. Como4's Jeremy Harris tagged along with this new cleanup crew.
Having us clean up the city just a little bit so they can, feel good about it.
It gets pretty nasty, pretty quick. And
Casey and his friend Jay Volkman say they are reformed taggers who now want to help remove unwanted tags with their company, The Buff Man.
When something gets erased on the wall, the Buff Man got to it,
Seattle has spent millions cleaning up graffiti, with Mayor Bruce Harrell saying the tags, quote, drive him nuts.
Even after spending all this time doing graffiti, I understand that aspect.
So even though we now are seeing that the police, when they can, are arresting these taggers and prosecutors are filing felony charges. I mean, there have been dozens of charges filed. Mm-hmm. Even though that there are, millions of dollars spent each year along the freeways trying to clean up the stuff, the crews cannot keep up.
With all that money being spent, there sure is a lot of tagging still, and really no attempt had been made to make some kind of relationship.
Jay says he wants to work with the city on an outlet for their talent, something like designated buildings or walls for graffiti.
Well, personally, I know that we could probably do a better job just because we know how it works.
Stay away from tagging on businesses, because they'll probably want to pay you and have you do something nice.
Casey is recovering after a serious accident and still facing charges from his prior cases. But he says his days of tagging are over and he wants to leave a better mark on Seattle.
It's a beautiful city when it's clean. I hate seeing stuff like this.
Okay, so I have mixed feelings. First of all, I mean, the part about them actually turning it into a business, I'm all good as long as they're not, basically encouraging people to put more graffiti up because they know that group, and then getting paid to clean up, kind of.
I tell you what, I don't know how you all feel. I feel pretty good about Ursula's always talking about the graffiti problem. If you were to tell me that the new commissioner or the new czar for graffiti, especially here in the city of Seattle, would be some former taggers, I'd be all for it. I really would be.
As long as they don't have a high-rise
somebody that really uses
office with a great view and don't show results.
Are you talking about when they had the czar?
Yeah.
But with this, would you agree? Would you agree that you'd be okay with this? Former taggers, you'd be all right?
I love the fact that, hey, I mean, when you talk about second chances, here are some folks who are, they know it best. They know where a lot of this stuff is, how to get up to these places where you keep thinking, like, how did they get to that place?
Right.
Yeah. So, because we don't have enough crews to actually address this problem. And I think it is a problem. But again, I would want to make sure that everything is on the up and up, which it sounds like it is. And I mean, they sound like they're reformed. So I'm glad for that.
Yeah. Well, I just hope they try to get it together right here. So for sure.
Do you guys really believe that they're not creating their own graffiti? Right? They're not out there spray painting and creating their own business?
Well, that's why I brought it up, which is that would be my fear, but I don't have any evidence of that. Again,
I'm suspect.
Yeah,
I'm very suspect.
Here's my question though, because I know that there are a lot of people who say, "Why does this bother you? Why does graffiti bother you so much?" And I'm just of the feeling, if you can do it there, and if it's not cleaned up, in all these different places, I mean, it just feels I feel dirty driving through downtown Seattle.
Yeah, I kind of like it on the freeways, but on businesses, it's horrible.
It is horrible.
And it does make a lot of people feel uncomfortable.
It does. I mean, it just shows a basic disrespect for the city, and it does cause a lot of damage, and it costs millions and millions of dollars. So I'm happy for this business. I hope they're successful, and I hope they continue, and I hope it's all on the up and up.
Oh, I got to mention, in case some of you missed it, we are now on YouTube Live.
Yes.
So you can just pop on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube page, hit the top left video icon, says live on it, and you can chat with us, see what's going on in studio.
How do you feel about it? Because I gotta worry. I have to worry about my facial expressions now, even more so.
No, you really should not. Ursula has the best facial expressions, and she reacts to things without saying things sometimes, and it speaks louder than words. You should definitely tune in.
I know. I think I'm busted. But you can see it all on YouTube, and we'll interact with you on there as well. But coming up at 9:47, we need to talk about this restaurant that is coming to a Seattle neighborhood, and Gee's all excited about it. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I have zero interest in stepping foot in it, and it's all because of its name. We'll have that next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Treat yourself to a teriyaki salmon meal at Ivar's Seafood Bar. A grilled wild Alaskan salmon fillet with a teriyaki glaze, served with coconut pineapple rice and sesame ginger coleslaw for $15.99. And don't forget Ivar's Fish Sandwich, named the best fish sandwich in America by Eat This, Not That. Only $13.99. Available in all Ivar's Seafood Bars from Marysville to Tacoma and throughout Seattle, but not in Ivar's Fish Bars nor the Salmon House, Pier 54, or Mukilteo Landing. Find out more at ivars.com.
I've been telling you about how much I love my Subaru. We bought it from Carter Subaru in 2016, and it has just worked so well for our family. And that was actually the second car that we bought from Carter Subaru, because that is a dealership that we trust. And right now, We're all trying to make sure that our money is spent well, it goes further, and that is something that you will feel like you get when you deal with Carter Subaru. In the market for a new car right now, my friends at Carter Subaru have the vehicle that you've been searching for. They have over 300 new ones in stock, and right now you can get the 2025 Outback with 2.9% financing for 36 months, or if you want to go electric, they've got the 2025 Solterra EV, 0% APR for 72 months on approved credit. Do what our family did. Shop with the Carter Subaru Advantage and enjoy valet parking at their Ballard dealership and at-home delivery across all locations.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 4/30/25.
Upgrade now with incredible savings on ultra-efficient heat pumps. Get up to $6,000 in rebates, plus save 10% on heat pumps through April. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Charlie Harger here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast Water Heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast Water Heater.
Swim your way to a healthier you with an endless pool swim spa from Olympic Hot Tub. During our spring savings event, save up to $9,000 on an endless pools package, free Bluetooth music, and more. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Riereka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
I just learned 10% of our electricity in Washington comes from nuclear energy.
I've heard it's reliable and has a small footprint, but what about the waste?
It's not what you might think. No overflowing dumpsters or leaking barrels. Used fuel is safely stored in solid form after powering homes, schools, and businesses for years. All nuclear power plants in the U.S. store their used fuel responsibly to protect the environment.
Where can I learn more?
You can learn about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com. Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future.
Hi, it's John Curley. You know, I've been a patient of Longevity Medical Clinic since 2009, and Longevity Medical Clinic has been helping people live longer, healthier lives for more than 25 years. You know what's amazing, Doctor? The feelings that you have after just a cup. That's LongevityMedicalClinic.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. I've been getting the pronunciations. I thank you all for your text messages on the proper pronunciation of Khmer Rouge. I just got off the phone with my buddy. He's married to someone that's Cambodian, and he's like, I don't even have to call my wife. I'm telling you, it's Khmer. So I
think there was a British pronunciation, and so I'm going to say that, G, you came up with a solution in search of a problem. and you fessed up. You fessed up
fessed
on
up
air
because I was feeling.
you felt so horrible, and I love your heart for that because you were thinking you offended everybody, and you actually didn't.
Yeah.
So there you go. So you're good. You're good.
I just reached out to Salong to see.
Okay.
Anyway, I know you all don't want to say it. I have been told that I'm not allowed to say it, but this is the news. Ursula has taught me to give the news the way it's supposed to be. Egg Slut, a renowned restaurant chain dedicated to egg-based dishes, is set to open in Seattle's Capitol Hill at Melrose Market. The new location, Ursula, will replace the closed homegrown sandwiches at 1531 Melrose Avenue. A construction permit for the space is currently in progress, but the opening date remains uncertain, with the recent social media posts indicating that it will be coming soon. Ursula, I think that this is wonderful. I love hearing a new dining option centered around breakfast in Capitol Hill. Families will be able to go there and enjoy some tasty egg menu. Now, I know you have done your research. I bet you have pulled up Egg Slut. I don't know if you've been there before, but I have.
I have not.
Yeah.
But even though I have not, and even though I look and I see that they've got breakfast sandwiches on brioche buns, and they have truffle hash browns, which I love, and they describe it as mini seasoned hash browns tossed in duck fat and finished with truffle rosemary salt.
So
I mean,
why
it
aren't you
sounds
going?
incredible.
So why aren't you going?
Because of the name. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I feel like I would need a shower after I go eat at Egg Slut. And the fact that you were told, and now I feel horrible even saying the word. I just don't get into businesses that try to have these like trendy names and a name that denigrates, in my opinion, denigrates women. I didn't even like calling the South Lake Union trolley that word.
Well,
I mean, it's a word that every time I hear it, it's jarring, which is, I guess, hypocritical because you know that I do have a foul mouth, but it's like the F-bomb will come out easily.
Okay.
Off air.
All right. Ursula, I understand not saying the word. Fine. But you would really, even though the menu sounds great, everything sounds great.
Options.
I'm telling you that it's great, and you would still not go somewhere based on the name. If you're listening right now,
family.
would you?
Hey, boys, do you want to go to the Egg Slut? No, I really don't.
Wow. If you're listening right now, is anybody on the same thing with Ursula? Would you really choose not to go to an establishment or choose a business based on the name?
Yeah, well, there's another business that I never went to. Do you remember that?
The Biscuit?
No.
Biscuit, you know what?
Oh, really?
Biscuit Itch.
I wouldn't go there either.
You wouldn't?
No, but there's another restaurant that I didn't go to, and it wasn't denigrate. It wasn't there a burger joint called the Heart Attack?
That's in Vegas. That's in Vegas.
I know. And I remember I remember walking by it and looking at it going, I'm not going to eat at a place that is basically...
You win. You win the argument. You win with that. I refuse to go to that place.
It's embarrassing.
No, that whole Heart Attack. You win, Ursula. That Heart Attack in Vegas, I see it all. I'm not going in there.
It's like having the warning on the cigarette pack where they got the label with the lungs with cancer. They sell them up in Canada.
Heart Attack Grill.
Gee, I can think of one that I definitely never wanted to go to. There's this car place in Linwood forever. It's gone now, but it was the Compact Car Corner. And, of course, they did the thing where they replaced all the C's with K's. And I was like, what is up with that place? Even when I was a little kid.
There's a lot of people texting agreeing with you.
Thank you. The question is, does the name matter? Yeah, to some people it does. I'm one of them.
But hold on. Watch this. Watch this, Chef. I said Ursula won, but I'm about to reclaim the throne. Y'all ready for this?
Okay.
On YouTube. Hit it in the comments, by the way. If you listen to the show, you can go to YouTube and go live.
And just look at how G is puffing out his chest right now.
Y'all ready for this? Watch this. Ursula.
Uh-huh.
When your sons come back in town, and they've been out of town, and they come in town, what burger establishment is their favorite?
Oh, you want me to say Dick's? But Dick's is a person's name, the shorthand for Richard. So nice try, G, and you're hopping around like a fool in the studio.
Come on now.
You realize now that we're on YouTube, G's going to be a little extra all the time.
I know.
You were dancing around thinking you made such a great point with your dicks thing. No.
You're not going to give me credit for that?
No.
By the way.
No, because that is a name. That is a nickname for Richard.
But they didn't call it Richard.
No, because his name is
call
Derek.
it Richard. Just saying.
What I've learned, though, in this conversation is that is where your mind goes every time you get a double cheeseburger.
Hey, by the way, if you have an opportunity, I know we always talk about the text line. Go to the YouTube page. That's where the party is. During the breaks, I go and I comment towards you. But in there, so when Ursula tells you guys about antics, the things that happen, and walking off, and all,
and
now
my faces,
you get to see inside of the studio. What a new way to watch. But if you're at work, don't do it at work. You make sure you concentrate, because I know how hard you all work on Fridays, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Okay, coming up next here on the show, some of you guys love him, some of you guys don't. Our next guest is going to be Dr. Jason Johnson.
I love how you say, some of you love him, some of you don't. But you know what? You will be entertained.
Yeah. So Dr. Jason Johnson, he's going to join us next, and we got all kinds of questions for him. We'll do that next. Gee Ursula.
Now is your time to get into a new DR Horton home by taking advantage of their national Red Tag sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag sales event going on right now. Discover the DR Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. DR Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
When the heat's an 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
This is the time to plan ahead, so you stay cool this summer. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Now save $50 off our pre-summer AC tune-up.
Dayandnight.net.
Do you ever lose your balance or feel dizzy for no apparent reason? Do you hear ringing in your ears or have migraines? These are all signs you could have a problem with your inner ear or vestibular system. To learn more, call the Vestibular Disorders Helpline at 800-837-8428. That's 800-837-8428. Sponsored by the Vestibular Disorders Association.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel, walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Flace with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The nicotine in e-cigarettes is addictive and can harm brain development. That's why I worry about teens who try e-cigarettes. Many young people use pod-based e-cigarettes like Juul, which have high levels of nicotine. And because teens' brains are still developing, they can quickly become addicted. The tobacco industry uses fruit and candy flavors to attract young people, often turning them into lifelong users. For more, visit healthychildren.org.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
It was a nightmare. We felt stuck.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-277-3355. 800-277-3355. 800-277-3355.
Carter Subaru wants to buy your car. Carter Subaru will buy your vehicle for top dollar, even if you're not in the market for a new one. And when you are ready to buy a new vehicle, your drive begins with savings at Carter Subaru. Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Peter King. A setback for the Trump administration's attempt to shut down the government agency that protects consumers. CBS's Linda Kenyon has the late-breaking details on the federal case involving the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Judge Amy Berman Jackson has barred officials from carrying out mass firings or cutting off employees' access to the CFPB's computer systems, at least until she rules on the merits of a pending lawsuit. That lawsuit seeks to keep the Bureau open, and Judge Jackson says the Trump administration's plans to go ahead and fire hundreds of employees and dismantle the agency anyway cannot happen. She will hear arguments in the lawsuit on April 28th. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The suspect in yesterday's Florida State University shootings remains hospitalized and apparently is cognizant. CBS's Anna Schechter.
He was able to communicate there, but he also had enough information to know that he could refuse to answer those questions.
This is Michael Wallace. Yesterday's shooting was a bad case of deja vu for FSU student Stephanie Horowitz. She survived the 2018 high school shooting in Parkland, Florida.
I got into a place over these last couple of years where I didn't fear for my life anymore, and here we are yet again, and that was taken away from me for a second time.
She tells CBS Mornings,
I never thought it would happen to me for the first time, and here we are, and unfortunately this is America for you.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador is not expected to return to the U.S. anytime soon. Senator Chris Van Hollen visited him there yesterday. The Trump administration is refusing court orders to bring him back, and El Salvador won't send him back. CBS's Scott McFarland.
Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele, whose government is being paid by the U.S. to detain deportees, also posted photos of the meeting and reiterated that Abrego Garcia will remain in his country's custody. The White House called Senator Van Hollen's visit truly disgusting, saying Chris Van Hollen has firmly established Democrats are the party whose top priority is the welfare of an illegal alien MS-13 terrorist.
At the Vatican, again. The Cardinal presides over the Good Friday service at St. Peter's, but as he recovers from double pneumonia, many are wondering about the Pope. Will they see him? He has been out in public this week. CBS's Chris Livesay.
And it's whether or not we might see Pope Francis. We might see him on Easter Sunday. That's a big event, one that many say is too big for him to miss. And then, of course, J.D. Vance is in town. There's nothing on the books for the two of them to meet, but who knows?
The markets are closed for Good Friday. This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
Governor Ferguson again telling lawmakers, rein in those taxes. The story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Lakewood, a disabled vehicle's blocking a lane on I-5 southbound at Thorn Lane. Travel time Tacoma to Olympia, 32 minutes, only a couple minutes longer than usual. In Kirkland, a disabled vehicle's blocking a lane on I-405 southbound at Northeast 70th Place. Your travel time, again, only a couple minutes longer than typical. If you're heading north, in Linden, police activity is blocking a lane on northbound State Route 539 at River Road. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking call Beacon.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A former wrestling coach at an Auburn middle school is behind bars after allegedly sexting with a 14-year-old. Auburn police spokesman Colby Crossley.
The case was first brought to our attention Friday, April 4th. Our detectives obviously quickly jumped at this. This is something we do not take lightly ever. And after a prompt and thorough investigation, detectives are able to build a case which led to the suspect's arrest.
School officials sent a notice to families saying the 64-year-old suspect is no longer employed at Olympic Middle. He's accused of committing 3 felony sex crimes, including communicating with a minor for sex. A former Sumner basketball coach has been sentenced to the next 4 decades in prison for sexually abusing 8 players. KIRO 7 TV was in court when one of Jackson's victims spoke before sentencing.
I live in constant skepticism and hypervigilance of my surroundings. Trust has become a concept that is not within my reach, altering the way I see the world and even the way I see myself.
Jacob Jackson was found guilty on 19 counts, including rape and molestation. If you traveled through SeaTac Airport last week, you may have been exposed to measles. Public health doctors say the Canadian resident was at the airport while contagious April 6th and 7th. The individual also stayed the night at the Comfort Suites next to Family Fun Center in Tukwila. This is the 5th confirmed case of measles in our state. Governor Bob Ferguson is warning fellow Democrats he might veto their tax-heavy budget proposal.
Governor Ferguson called the $12 billion package of new taxes introduced just Tuesday unsustainable and too risky in light of potential federal funding cuts from the Trump administration. It comes just 10 days before the end of the 105-day session and puts more than a half dozen new tax proposals in jeopardy and raises the possibility of a special session if the Democratic governor and the Democratic leadership that controls the House and Senate can't come to agreement. Federal funds make up more than 28% of the state budget. Matt Markovich, KIRO News Radio.
The Seahawks have signed Drew Lock to a 2-year quarterback deal. Lock spent last season with the New York Giants. Lock joins Sam Darnold, Sam Howell, and Jarrett Hall on the roster. General Manager John Snyder.
It's a great situation. We have 4 guys that we really like.
He says the team might also draft another quarterback next week. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today with highs around 70. It's 56 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
It is Fresh Fridays here on the Gee and Ursula Show. April 18th, also Good Friday today. We're reminded it is Easter weekend. It is Good Friday today. Ursula, 5.5 years ago when we started the show, you used to kind of get a little irritated with me because I was spending a lot of time on the text line. Then after a while, you got hooked on the text line. Mm-hmm. And so you like, okay. Not saying that we don't love the text line anymore, because we do. But we got a new thing, y'all, and it is popping. It is our YouTube live channel. And I know some of my brothers and sisters say, I don't know what YouTube is. Yes, you do. Just go get on the YouTube, go to the KIRO radio news page, and go to the Gee and Ursula Show that's live. There's a community of folks that are hanging out. We got up to 93 people all at one time.
So what are they going to get that they can't get on the text line? Because I think there's some folks who are like, wait a minute, I'm just used to the text line. So what are we going to offer them on YouTube?
Well, first,
besides,
I'll tell you
you're dancing around.
I'll tell you the number one thing that they get. When they text us on the text line, the only response is either we talk about it or we respond back. They don't see other people's texts. In the chat on YouTube, they get to see what the community and what everyone else is saying. So like right now, my man Stonewall Gaston asked a question. He said, would anyone in the chat ever eat a pizza from Subway? To which I said, never. And then Jay Gaines said, nope, these places need to stick to what they're known for. So it's like a whole family community in the chat. So I'm warning you, I already don't do a lot of work anyways. I've just decreased my work ethic because I'm going to be chilling in YouTube.
That's just what we need, more distractions, right? Hey, welcome to our YouTube community. And I know that you're going to bring the same kind of wonderful, positive energy that you do on our text line and on our emails and on our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page to YouTube, which can sometimes be a little dicey, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're just going to make it a lot of fun, and you will see some behind-the-scenes stuff that you haven't been seeing lately. So, hey, we do have a guest on the line, so let's get to it.
What's new at 10?
Dr. Jason Johnson is an MSNBC host. He's also a professor at Morgan State University, and he also hosts a Word with Jason Johnson podcast, and he's on the Gee and Ursula Show right now. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Look, I said when I came in, I had dental surgery this morning. Half my face is frozen, but I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna push through for Gee and Ursula. So if I sound a little off, just know that's why. But I'm still coming through for the chat.
Thank you for the dedication, and we appreciate it. A lot of people were looking to forward to hearing you. So let's get right to the one of the top stories that's been dominating the news. We at least know now that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is alive. Maryland Senator Van Hollen has now met with him in El Salvador while the standoff between the Trump administration and the courts continues. Where do you see this going? Because a federal court has weighed in, the U.S. Supreme Court has weighed in, but the Trump administration is not budging. In fact, they're doubling and tripling down. Where do you see this going?
I suspect that he will eventually get back in the country because at some point it may be inconvenient for El Salvador to hold him. Right now, you've got a situation where the Trump administration's like, yeah, we don't care because we don't care about the Constitution. We don't care about sovereignty, citizenship, or anything else like that. And El Salvador is perfectly happy to go along with that. But if it becomes inconvenient for El Salvador, either financially, if there are boycotts on products, if there are businesses that put pressure, if members of the House and Senate start putting pressure on business or economic or policy things that have to do with El Salvador, they may say, we don't want to hold this person here any longer, take him back. So I think he will eventually get back. But the damage is done. The damage is done. The absolutely complicit, feckless Supreme Court that we have that delayed sentencing for Trump, that refused to hold him accountable when he was under various and sundry charges throughout the latter part of the Biden administration, they created this monster. And this monster just told them 9-0, I don't care. I'm still not going to listen to what your rules are. So that's the larger issue we have here. When you add to it that today the administration is taking its case to the Supreme Court to end birthright citizenship, we can see that their long-term plan is to basically deport anyone that the Trump administration sees as an enemy, regardless of your citizenship status.
Now, Dr. Johnson, this is one issue, though, where I've seen even some of Trump's most ardent supporters saying, wait a minute, this is not what we voted for, and they are expressing concerns about it. But you don't think that that's going to change anything?
No. And here's the thing, Ursula. I love that sentence. I want to replay that sentence every couple of months from now on, because you just said this is something that even Trump supporters say, this isn't what I voted for. How many times have we had to say that? It's been less than 100 days. These people, they didn't vote for crazy tariffs. They still got them. They didn't vote for air traffic controllers to be fired. That still happened, and planes fell out of the sky. Every other week, we're hearing people who supposedly voted for Donald Trump, even members of Congress, say, this isn't what I voted for. Yes, it is. It's exactly what you voted for. You just didn't think it was going to play out this way. So I don't think that those people are going to change, but I think this idea that people who, that voted for the leopard and the leopard starts eating their face are like, I can't believe the leopard's eating my face. Well, it's a leopard. It told you it likes faces. I don't know why you're shocked.
You and I love analogies, and you probably a little more than me. And right now, the Democratic Party reminds me of that team that has a great practice plan. Reminds me of that team that when you go see them practice, they look extremely well coached. Everything is perfect. The practice facility that they practice at is top notch, top of the line. It is fantastic. It reminds you of looking at Ivan Drago when he trained in Russia when he was preparing to fight against Rocky.
Deep cut.
Now, at deep cut, you got it. But even with that being said, every time the Democratic Party goes out there to play the game, they get skull drugged. They lose. Are the Democratic Party ready to change up their strategy, or are they ready to keep doing the same thing? Send us money. We're going to say so. We're going to go around. We're going to talk to everyone and send us money. This strategy is not working when you have, I'm going to say what it is, an attempt at authoritarian leadership. I'm done.
Here's the thing, G. First off, it's not an attempt. Like when the Supreme Court, half of whom owes you their position, half of the Supreme Court was paid for by Trump and Republican money, right? So when that Supreme Court says what you're doing is wrong, return this man, he's a citizen, and they still turn around and say, who's going to check me, boo? You're already an authoritarian regime. You're already a dictatorship. It's just, like I said, most people don't understand what it's like to actually live under authoritarian regimes. 80% of life continues the same way. As far as the Democratic Party goes, let's be clear. They have won a lot of special elections. They have flipped seats since. It's not like the Democratic Party doesn't have leadership. David Hogg is doing the rounds right now that you have somebody who is a vice president of the Democratic Party saying, we're going to clean out the garbage. We're going to start primarying incumbent Democrats who are not fighting enough against this regime. So it's not that there isn't a plan, but the issue is some of these things are taking place at levels where it's not something Congress can do something about immediately, right? So, for example, this fight right now with snatching people off of campuses, right, and snatching people out of their homes and taking them to the streets, the Democrats in the Senate can say what they're saying, which is like, hey, this is wrong. We're going to encourage the courts to do the right thing. We're not going to vote on any more Trump appointees. Those are things they can do. Can they be louder? Yes. But a lot of this stuff really has to do with different agencies, right? Who's in charge of ICE? Can you do something about ICE funding? Well, you can, but the budget's already been made. So at this particular point, I can't blame the Democratic Party as a whole. I blame their inability to tell us how clearly they are addressing these issues. But I mean, this is a court situation now with the deportations. This is a court situation with citizenship. This is a court situation and a finance situation when it comes to the Trump administration trying to pass executive orders to snatch away the tax-exempt status from colleges or to say that climate change organizations are not tax exempt. Those are legal issues, and there's so much the Democratic Party can do.
Okay, well, speaking of the Democratic Party, who is the leader of the Democratic Party right now? And I'm not talking about the DNC, but I'm talking about who's the voice now.
I will tell you, it ain't Stephen A. Smith.
Hey, by the way, I'm saving that question for the end. So hold your thunder on Stephen A. Smith.
Look, here's the thing, Ursula. That's a great question. If this goes to what G said, let's not keep making the same mistakes in the past. And I say we, by all American citizens and everybody who's concerned about democracy, let the people decide. It is less than 100 days into the Trump regime. I don't want anybody having conversations about who the new leader of the Democratic Party is when we are 3 years away from the next presidential election, if we're allowed to have one, and we're still 18 months away, more than 18 months away from the midterm elections. I mean, why is anyone having that conversation? Right? It's not like there's a draft coming up. You got an NFL draft in a week. You don't have a draft for the Democratic Party. Let people shake this out and let the voters decide. So when I see George Clooney sitting there with Jake Tapper saying, you know what, I like Andy Beshear because I'm from Kentucky, and I think Wes Moore should be the leader. You know what Wes Moore's job is? I live in Maryland. Wes Moore's job is to make sure that all the hundreds of thousands of federal workers whose jobs have been affected by DOGE, he's trying to make sure those people stay employed, hired, and in their homes. He's trying to make sure that the universities in Maryland continue to function after the Department of Education has been taken care of. He's trying to get himself reelected. So let's not put the leadership mantle, let's not put the thorny crown on the head of anybody in office right now. I don't care if it's Gretchen Whitmer. I don't care if it's Andy Beshear. I don't care if it's Wetmore. Let them do their jobs. And leadership will become evident to the American people when it's time to make that decision.
Well, one of the reasons why the Democratic Party should be in search of someone who can speak strongly in, I guess, on behalf of, is because it feels like everyone is too fearful. Certainly, the Republicans are too fearful right now to fight this regime that is happening. And Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski actually admitted that. Listen to this.
What are you going to have to say to people who are afraid, or who represent people who are afraid? We are all afraid. Okay. That's what I'm stating. But we are, we're in a time and a place where I don't know. I certainly have not. I have not been here before, and I'll tell you, I'm oftentimes very anxious myself about using my voice. Because retaliation is real. And that's not right.
This is a longtime senator from Alaska who is saying, we are afraid. I mean, that should be scary for all of us.
Well, it should be. But then again, you know, I'm not moved by that. Lisa Murkowski has been in the Senate for a long time. Did she vote for removal when Trump was up for impeachment multiple times? Again, because you can vote for impeachment. That's different than voting for removal. Has she been outspoken about January 6th? No. Did she vote in favor of investigations into January? But here's the thing. At some point, admitting that you're a coward doesn't elicit empathy out of
Exactly.
That's the thing. It's like, you know, her life was in danger on January 6th in a way that none of us experienced. I've never had to be, I mean, I've had a mass shooting at my university, but I wasn't there that day. I've never known what it's like to fear that my colleagues helped plan an insurrection that could have ended up putting me to death. I have empathy for people who experience that danger. But what I don't have empathy for are members of Congress, and you hear this from Republicans all the time, who are like, I'm afraid. Well, what have you done when you had power to stop this? Nothing. It's the same thing as when I hear the next TikTok farmer say, I've lost half of my wealth. Or when I hear the guy who runs Barstool, I lost $7 million because of Trump's tariffs. Well, then what do you do when you have the opportunity to make a difference? Nothing. They go along with this administration. So, is what she said compelling? Not to me. I've heard it before. Does it elicit empathy? Not at all. It just reminds me of how feckless the party is and what the Democrats have to do in order to fight back.
Dr. Johnson, you are speaking my language. By the way, you are listening to Dr. Jason Johnson. He is a political consultant and everything in political science, all that stuff. Professor, MSNBC contributor. He does a lot of things. He got a whole lot of jobs. Before you go, on your YouTube page, by the way, I love the fact that you're taking to YouTube now. You've been on YouTube, Dr. Jason Johnson. How can they find you on YouTube real quick?
Just go to Dr. Jason Johnson. It's been great. We launched it about a week and a half ago. between TV and writing and relaunching my podcast, there's so many things going on. I don't always have a chance to do it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's take it to YouTube. You can get some original content there, everything from my pop culture takes, some of my sports stuff. So, of course, I'm going to invite G on at some point.
No, your sports stuff. Oh, gosh. I can't.
We're close to 1 million views. So I'm really excited. We'll probably be celebrating that within the next month.
Dr. Johnson, I love you. I cannot stand your sports takes. Love your political takes. But here, speaking of that, I want to intertwine political and sports.
Mm-hmm.
This arrogant Stephen A. Smith has the audacity to tell people that he is thinking about running for president in 2028.
Here's my thing, G. I don't have a problem with Stephen A. Smith saying that he wants to run for president. I have a problem with The Hill, Politico, ABC This Week. I have a problem with reputable political news outlets platforming him. You could stand out in the middle of Fifth Avenue in any downtown and say, I'm running for president of the United States. That's fine. But your local KMOV news doesn't have to give you a 5-minute segment to talk about it. It is an indictment of our entire political journalism press in America that this man, who is not in any shape, way, or form qualified, is being given platforms to talk about how he's not qualified, but he feels compelled to talk about how he thinks he might want to think about running. It's a lie. It's gaslighting. If there were people who actually wanted Stephen A. Smith to run for president, they would come out and talk about it. They would be putting money on the line. George Clooney just came out and said, hey, I like Andy Bashir and Wes Moore. Ain't nobody coming out and saying they want Stephen A. to run for president, not even Shaq. Nobody is, because there's nobody coming up and telling him to run for president. And a good political journalist would be asking him that question. And the last thing I'll say is this, because it's so key. It drives me bonkers. And I've heard political people who I respect repeat this nonsense. They're like, he's a great debater. No, he's not. No, he is not. Look, you have a better chance of beating Bobby Flay on his own show than you do beating Stephen A. in a debate, because anybody who beats him in a debate on first take doesn't get invited back. So let's not pretend that this man can debate the issue.
That's true.
Okay,
Max Kellerman lost his job, by the way. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, Dr. Johnson, when we bring you back, and we are going to do that very soon, we need to talk about AOC and Bernie, because they are getting some huge crowds in maybe some unexpected places, don't you think?
Yeah, I was there in L.A. I saw their crowd. I have lots of thoughts about what that was like, and I know what they did in Utah. So it's an interesting story. We'll see if it manifests in any actual changes in the party.
Dr. Jason Johnson, have a good weekend, man. Are you flying anywhere this weekend? You chilling? What you doing?
No, I actually just finally got back. I'm here. I just got back from L.A. I'm going to watch Sinners this weekend with friends and get ready for White House Correspondents' Weekend next week.
We need to catch up and talk about Sinners. I'm going tomorrow at 7 o'clock to see it. It's the first time I've been to a movie since Maverick Top Gun. I'm going to see that tomorrow.
Wow. Okay. Yes. Hit me up this weekend.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Coming up next here on the Gee Ursula Show, we're going to be talking about Boeing. Boeing right now, they have a new approach to some things. We'll discuss that next. Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of their National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through April 20th. Stop by any of their participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
The preseason AC sale is on now at Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. This month only, keep your home cool and your wallet comfortable with 15% off. Plus, free financing on all air conditioners, heat pumps, and ductless systems. Trust the team voted best in the Pacific Northwest and call Bob's today for your free estimate. Hurry, the discount reduces to 10% off in May. Call Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
Swim your way to a healthier you with an endless pool swim spa from Olympic Hot Tub. During our spring savings event, save up to $9,000 on an endless pools package, free Bluetooth music, and more. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Are you working in the refrigeration industry? Are you staying up on current regulations? Well, Local 32 can help advance your career. That's right. Learn more at ualocal32.com. Again, that's ualocal32.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-303-1219. 800-303-1219. 800-303-1219.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
This week at Jazz Alley, join Madeline Peru on her Let's Walk tour, April 17th through 20th. With her honeyed voice and mix of jazz, folk, and pop, Madeline's music is a journey for the soul. Get your tickets at jazzalley.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. As Christians commemorate Good Friday, it's unclear if Pope Francis will lead Easter Sunday Mass at the Vatican. He's recovering from double pneumonia. CBS's Chris Livesay says Francis has been out and about, though.
Holy Thursday, he pops out of the Vatican and shows up at a prison and is mixing and mingling with about 70 prisoners there.
He also made a surprise appearance at St. Peter's Square on Palm Sunday. A vigil is planned today at Florida State University, one day after a student opened fire there, killing 2 people and injuring 6. CBS's Skylar Henry spoke with a woman who's familiar with the suspect.
I was in shock. I was like, I know this kid.
FSU sophomore Lainey Montgomery grew up in the same neighborhood as the suspected gunman. They went to middle and high school together.
He was very isolated. He was just very odd. I don't believe he had many friends.
In the wake of Thursday's shooting, FSU canceled classes through the end of the week.
The suspect was shot, injured, and is in custody. Maryland U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen has met with the man from his state who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador.
I do intend to keep at this until we ensure that Mr. Obregor Garcia has his rights to due process.
The Trump administration has said Obregor Garcia was deported due to a clerical error, but is now insisting he's a gang member. At least 23 international students at the University of Washington have had their visas suddenly revoked. University officials tell KIRO 7 TV they weren't warned ahead of time. They're urging affected students to contact International Student Services immediately. Owning a bar or brewery in Washington state might get more expensive. The state Senate just narrowly approved a bill raising liquor license fees by 50%. Fenced-off beer gardens may soon be optional. KIRO News Radio's Ben Markovich explains.
House Bill 1515 gives large cities the option to keep fenced-in booze gardens or not. For example, at the Bite of Seattle, the entire perimeter of Seattle Center would become a beer garden without any fencing. The bill also allows multiple bars, breweries, and restaurants to share a single alcohol service area, whether it's a street, park, or civic plaza, meaning you could stroll through the festival zone, drink in hand, without being fenced in like an animal. Why now? A flood of international visitors for the World Cup games next year. Then the fence-free zones are set to expire in 2027. Matt Markovich, KIRO News Radio.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, in Renton, a crash has been cleared to the shoulder of northbound State Route 167 near Carr. Your tap and brakes from about South 208th Street almost up to I-405. In Kirkland, a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on I-405 southbound at Northeast 70th Place. Your travel time is only a couple minutes longer than typical, though. And in Lakewood, the disabled vehicle's been moved from I-5 southbound at Thorn Lane. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today with highs around 70. It's 56 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. It is a fresh Friday. It is gorgeous outside. I would argue it is going to be the most beautiful day so far this year. Coming up at 10:47, we solve other people's problems and scenarios. But I have a question for you and all of you watching on YouTube now. When you have a company survey that you have to fill out, how good are you about filling those out and filling those out accurately?
1,000% not good about filling them out. And if I'm forced to, I'm lying. I'm not telling the entire truth.
Why?
Because
See, you're the problem.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. Because I don't believe they're anonymous. That's why. I don't care what anybody says. They're not anonymous.
Okay, HR folks, tell us, are they truly anonymous? Because I do fill them out. I do fill them out,
who
and
pays
I am
HR?
as
Who
I am
pays
as
HR?
yeah. But now they're anonymous, right? So they can tell us the truth. That's the whole thing, right?
Even if they aren't anonymous, sometimes you could people would be able to tell who you are based on your particular concerns, right? Or the feedback that you give. Yes. So the one thing that I would caution would be to try to use language that is different than what you would normally do. If there's something that's so specific that there's only one person who could potentially say that, yes. But supposedly you are not supposed to be retaliated against, and you're supposed to be as honest as possible. And it frustrates me that there are people who don't fill them out. And I'll tell you why.
Because companies in the past have never retaliated against employees.
Well, this is true, and this is the problem. But I want to point out what Boeing did, because they have set out some new values. They're trying to change the corporate culture, as we have been sharing with all of you who've been listening. Boeing has had a whole myriad of problems over the last few years, some very devastating ones, and they're just basically have really, the company has taken a tumble in terms of its reputation within its own workforce, right? So they did this survey, and people were brutally honest.
Yeah.
And basically they said they don't trust, the folks who filled out the survey said they don't trust senior leadership. They don't feel like their contributions are recognized or valued. They said that only 27% of the survey participants said they would highly recommend Boeing as a place to work. And I know that companies take great pride in being able to say, 90% of our employees say this is a great place to work. 27% would only say that it was a great place to work. That's pathetic. So the new CEO, Kelly Ortberg, basically shared the results at a staff meeting this week. And so I don't want to hyper focus on Boeing, but I wanted to use it as a launch pad for just talking about what makes a great company culture and who is in charge of creating that company culture.
The leader. Whoever the leader is. The fish stinks from the head down. And this is why I believe that the best leadership in the world is two places: military and/or professional sports. Because people's jobs and livelihood truly do. Like, you really can't, in sports, you really will be replaced. You're either winning or you're losing. That's it. In the military, you have chain of command. You have SOP, standard operating procedures. You have things that are in place. It is done right. You answer to this person, chain of command. It's only in the private sector, in a lot of companies out here, that you have a lot of things being subjective. And by the way, when you get to the point where Boeing is right now, that means, Ursula, it has gone way too long. And so in order to right that ship, you need a very strong leader that is effective with communicating, effective and strong with what they say. I'm going to keep it a buck. We have a lot of weak leaders.
What does that look like? And text us, 888-973-5476. Or on YouTube, y'all are communicating with each other. So go ahead and share, what is it that you look for when it comes to great leadership? And when was the last time you worked at a place where you said, man, I feel like, I mean, I think that the idea of making sure that your employees feel valued, and that's not just in compensation. That is in recognition.
Facts.
That is in giving credit when someone does something that provides value to the company and to their teammates, right? I think that is, for most people, that is the number one thing when it comes to importance and how happy you are with your job.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you said strong leadership. What does that look like to you? Communication.
Being very effective, being able to articulate that message, having all of your employees in the building knowing what needs to be done. The problem is sometimes you might have a certain type of management that might have a breakdown on how things are said. Let me make this analogy real quick. In sports, let's say you have a really good player. Tyreek Hill, wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. DK Metcalf, wide receiver, right? Like a really good player. Oh my goodness, you guys are really good players. Geno Smith, oh my goodness, you're a really good player. You know what? How about you coach now? In corporate America, if you are really good at your job, you know what happens? They come to you and say, oh my goodness, you're good at your job. You should now be in management. Hey, everybody, just because you're good at your job does not mean that you're going to be a good manager or leader.
It is so true. It is so true. But I think you're right. I mean, I think that the best leaders are those who can also put the right people in the right places and empower them to do their thing. And again, recognize publicly, especially, when they're doing the right thing, and then when they're not doing the right thing, have those conversations privately.
Here's my question to every leader that's listening to our show right now. When's the last time you went up to some of your staff members and asked them, how's their family doing? When's the last time you came up to them and asked them, hey, what's the kids going to be doing for spring break? If you are a leader and the only thing you talk to your employees about is work, I'm going to tell you something. You ain't a good leader. Period. Because that employee has more going on, and how effective they are as an employee, way more going on in their life than they do at work. There's a lot of bad leadership out here. So I'm telling you right now, for real.
You're not wrong.
All right, Ursula. It's a time to judge other people's lives. We're going to do that in scenarios. Matter of fact, actually, actually, this scenario is actually tailor-made for you, Ursula. It is. We'll do that next. Gee and Ursula.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Attention, community heroes. We have a mission to improve food security 1 hour at a time. It's your boy, G. Scott here. Please join me, Safeway and Albertsons, by participating in the Nourishing Neighbors Million Hour Volunteer Rally to improve food security by donating your time and skills. We have a set goal of 1 million volunteer hours by caring people like you. Support your local food banks by volunteering to host a food drive or fundraiser so they can better serve your community in need. Safeway and Albertsons have made it easy to learn how and where you can help at their website. On top of that, you could potentially win free groceries for a year and a $5,000 donation to your hunger relief agency of choice. Now, to learn more, find volunteer opportunities and log your hours, visit albertsons.com/volunteer. Just a bit of your time by a lot of great people gets us closer to creating food secure communities. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer.
It's Jim Singletary, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, here to tell you the right way to choose a roofer. And it's not by choosing the lowest bid. Just comparing numbers? Terrible idea. A low price doesn't tell you if the job will be done right, and it definitely doesn't tell you anything about the contractor. Instead, treat hiring a roofer like a job interview. Ask them, why did my old roof fail early? What's the right solution for me, and why? Have you been around for at least 10 years? A new roof is a huge investment, and the job shouldn't go to the lowest bidder. It should go to the most qualified. At RoofSmart, we've got over a decade of experience, a team of more than 50 full-time pros, and real answers, not just numbers. Plus, we're certified, insured, and properly licensed. We'd love to apply for your roofing job. Call 206-487-4877 or visit GetRoofSmart.com today. That's 206-487-4877 or online at GetRoofSmart.com.
start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code GROW. swishradio.com, code GROW.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20-plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
At Carter Subaru, your drive begins with savings. With over 300 new vehicles in stock, shop your way, in-store or from home. Plus, when you buy from Carter, you support our community. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard today.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Let's get to scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Before we get to scenarios, our good buddy Glenn in Atlanta says, don't y'all feel naked knowing people staring at y'all throughout the whole show? I couldn't do it. And I want to tell you, Glenn, and I want to tell you, this new feature, how about this? It would be like your employer or your boss coming to you at work and telling you, hey, Gee, Ursula, hey, from here on out, I know you get off at 5 p.m. every day. You get off now at 2 o'clock every day. That's what this YouTube is for me.
You're just so excited about it.
Yeah, because I barely pay attention anyways. So it's a party. All right. My son is struggling.
You say that with such pride.
You want me to tell the truth, right?
No.
My son is struggling to get his feet on the ground. He graduated from college, but didn't have a job, so he moved back home. That's fine. But 3 years later, he still has nothing, and he seems fine with it. Finally, he has a big job interview lined up for next week. I told you this is your wheelhouse, Ursula. It could put him on a path to career success. He needs this job, and my wife and I need him to get this job and get out. I want him to wear a suit to the interview and have offered to buy it for him this weekend. His mom says nice jeans and a shirt will do. My attitude is that he needs to make an impression and not leave anything to chance. She says he won't feel comfortable and won't do as well in the interview. My son doesn't seem to care either way. So, what should we do? I told y'all, this is Ursula's wheelhouse right here. 888-973-5476. Ursula, what you got?
Unless it explicitly says we are a company that dresses down and we don't care about suits and you know that's the vibe, I would go in wearing a suit or very professional looking attire. I would err on the side of being overdressed versus underdressed. Look like you are coming in ready to basically get the job, and also that you took great care in preparing for the and it's not just about dressing up, it's also being prepared for that interview, knowing what the company stands for, doing your research, doing deep research about it, having questions, practicing before your interview comes up, saying, okay, what are some questions that could come up? I would be doing all of that, and I would be encouraging him to do all of that. But mom and dad, you also have to realize you have allowed this to happen. 3 years later, you are banking everything on him getting this job. This is a really tight job market right now. Everyone I've talked to right now they're saying, I'm applying for a bunch of different jobs, and I'm not getting a lot of them, even though I am highly qualified for these.
Yeah.
So you can't assume that's going to happen, but give him a deadline. Tell him this is when you have to move out by this time.
Can we agree on this, Ursula? Can you not wear jeans to the interview?
I wouldn't wear jeans to the interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
No jeans.
No.
You don't have to wear a suit, but the jeans, y'all, get you some slacks, get you some khakis. You know, some of y'all love khakis. But anyways, get you some of that.
So 206 says, I totally disagree on wearing a suit. Seattle hasn't cared about suits in 20 years. You got to know who you're applying with.
It never hurts to overdress, I don't think, unless you're applying for a job at, Tower Records or something like that.
Yes.
But I can tell you from personal experience, people can always tell if you're the person who's wearing the suit once every 5 years, or you're the one that just ran out and got the outfit and you got the tie on and you had to watch the YouTube video on how to put, because I've been that guy, right? As a parent, the best thing that you could possibly do for your kid is go out shopping with them, buy them some clothes, get them tailored so they look nice and they feel comfortable in it. Because if you're not used to dressing that way, you're not going to be good at dressing yourself. And it's not going to fit your body for the most part. And if it looks good, it fits good, you'll actually walk in with some confidence. Instead of looking like the guy that walked down to the Nordstrom rack, picked up some stuff, and now you're like, is this how, do I look good?
But just having been on the side of being the person who is going to employ someone and having people come in for interviews and they look like they just fell off a truck. I mean, that has happened, and I'm thinking like, what? This is where you're supposed to make the best impression, and this is what you came up with?
Yeah.
I mean, you have one chance to make that first impression.
And not everybody can just show up in jeans and a T-shirt for an interview.
No.
I just want that to be known.
I love what Pamela in Black Diamond says. Show up looking like you are ready to start today. 1,000%.
Whoa. 253 says, I applied once for a jail guard in Pierce County, showed up to the interview with khakis and a nice polo, and I was told I was underdressed and should be in a suit.
There you go. Again, I would err on the side of being overdressed than underdressed.
Same. All right, Ursula. We got the 11 o'clock hour going. As you all know, you know what I'm about to do here during the break. I'm going to jump in on the YouTube. If you haven't had opportunity, go over to the YouTube page. It is live. There are a lot of, right now.
What is happening in there? People are having conversations with each other, asking if they ran into each other at Trader Joe's. Like, what up with that?
Well, and she told him, no, I wasn't in that area. But
hey, you know what, though? The dating scene is tough. What if we had a Gee and Ursula Show dating pool in our YouTube? Right?
Oh, well.
If we do a live show, we should do one segment that's a speed dating round.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the coolest thing about the live chat, again, look, not to say you can still text in, of course, 888-973-5476. But Ursula, like I told you, the coolest thing about this is they're commenting on the show. They can listen, hear the show. One of them said, oh, I didn't know G did his live spots, did them live, the commercials. So, yeah, I do them live. So it's not recorded. And so it's a lot of people talking to each other in there. It's pretty fun. Chef has been there telling people how he doesn't like going to the break room. Chef, why don't you like going to the break room?
Because I can't stand elevator conversations. And somebody always runs in with some kind of a hot take that you got to respond to in 15 seconds. I'm like, what? I'm going to take my food out of the microwave and go now.
By the way, Ursula, in the live chat on YouTube, Tracy H. just said Ursula is definitely a matchmaker at heart.
Yes.
You do like that, don't you?
I absolutely do. I love making connections, friendships, romantic partners, all of it. I love it.
All right. Well, we'll have some fun. Happy Fresh Fridays to all of you. Good Friday as well. It is Easter weekend. I would love to know if anybody's cooking. If you're cooking, either pull up, show up to your house. We'll do Agree to Disagree next. Gee and Ursula.
Kia of Everett believes that when you're buying your new Kia, it should be simple, easy, and fun. So come in for our spring savings event. You'll get our best price first, complimentary appraisals to get your highest trade-in value, with 3 complimentary oil changes and 2 complimentary tire rotations. The best drive you'll ever take is to Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun.
Some restrictions apply. Visit KiaofEverett.com for details.
Hey there, Dawn Riding with Olympic Hot Tub.
Swimming your way to a healthier you is now easier and more affordable than ever with an Endless Pool Swim Spa. During our spring savings event, save up to $9,000 on an Endless Pools package and get a free gift bundle including a Bluetooth sound system worth up to $3,200. Don't miss out. Ends April 13th. More at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Steel, walk behind, zero turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
Gee and Ursula on KIRO News Radio.
You're not going to be able to stop what's going to happen.
I hope he's successful.
9 to noon, streaming live on your smart speaker.
So, you want to buy a house. You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. More scheduling, more viewings, more. This doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rush? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never-ending paperwork. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's me, the foul pole at T-Mobile Park. But it's about time they call me the fair pole because those are the moments I live for. When Cal's up to the plate, I'm always on high alert.
The big dumper with a 2-run blast.
And then there's Randy Arozarena, launching missiles into the stands, flipping his bat so high it practically reaches my eye level.
Blasted back, Randy Arozarena strikes again.
And J-Rod, heck, when he connects, he makes the whole building shake.
And it's gone. Goodbye, baseball. Julio Rodriguez.
So come on down and take a seat beside me. You might even go home with a souvenir. Mariners baseball, Tridents up.
The Mariners are back in town starting April 25th, and you won't want to miss 2 great giveaways. City Connect Captain's Hat Friday the 25th and Moose Shoulder Plush Night Saturday the 26th. Plus, score value game seats as low as $10 April 29th and 30th. Go to mariners.com to get your tickets and check out everything on deck.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump was asked today about all the deportation cases in the courts.
We're getting them out. And that's why I was elected. A judge wasn't elected to do that. I was elected to do that. And we're doing it in record fashion.
One of those cases involves Kilmar Abrega Garcia, a Maryland man deported to El Salvador. CBS's Natalie Brand.
The larger issue that so many people, from legal experts to lawmakers, are bringing up is the issue of due process, and the due process that didn't happen when he was deported. And, you know, the administration back then, last month, admitting this was an administrative error that led to his deportation.
President Trump was also asked about Secretary of State Marco Rubio's comments that the U.S. could move on if there's no progress soon on talks to end the war in Ukraine.
If for some reason one of the two parties makes it very difficult, We're just going to say you're foolish, you're fools, you're horrible people, and we're going to just take a pass.
Ahead of weekend talks with Iran, the U.S. launched airstrikes against Iranian-backed rebels in Yemen, killing at least 74 people at an oil port. Osama Khalil with Syracuse University.
Now, the Trump administration is claiming this is an attempt to pressure Iran, but it's unclear why bombing a port, killing paramedics and port workers is somehow going to pressure Iran in negotiations. If the United States wants to negotiate with Iran, it should negotiate with Iran. There's no reason to be bombing Yemen to do that.
The president's pick to head the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services was sworn in today. Mehmet Oz.
Medicaid dollars for people who are vulnerable are being used for non-medical purposes. For example, public labor unions are getting child care through some of this money. That doesn't make sense to me. Housekeeping. I wish I could get that for my home. There's a big problem with student loan repayments taking place with Medicaid dollars. That's not where it should be used.
Correspondent Jim Ursula reports on the nation's latest severe weather outbreak.
Severe storms, including confirmed tornadoes, have caused widespread damage across eastern Nebraska and western Iowa. Josh Havrin was home outside Lincoln, Nebraska, when a bad storm hit.
It was twisting around full of dirt, just like you see in the movies. I ran down and just stood in the mechanical room for a minute. When the ears got done popping, I knew it was done.
Severe weather, including tornadoes, is possible today from north central Texas all the way to Michigan. A severe weather threat will continue across the nation's midsection through the weekend. Jim Ursula, CBS News.
10,000 pages of records related to the 1968 assassination of Robert F. Kennedy have been released. It's part of the disclosure of national secrets ordered by President Trump. The markets are closed today for the holidays. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A school wrestling coach arrested for allegedly sexting with a teen. The story coming up at first from the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk. In Renton, a crash has been cleared to the shoulder of northbound State Route 167 near Carr. Your backup is dissipating. In Kirkland, a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on I-405 southbound at Northeast 70th Place. Travel time is only a couple of minutes longer than typical. And you're very slow on I-5 southbound near JBLM, probably due to construction. Your travel time from Tacoma to Seattle, 10 minutes longer than typical. This traffic report brought to you by D.R. Horton. The D.R. Horton National Red Tag Savings Event is going on now through April 20th. Visit a D.R. Horton community today or drhorton.com, an equal housing opportunity builder.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. An Auburn middle school wrestling coach arrested for alleged sex crimes involving a teen.
The 64-year-old coach is accused of sexually messaging a 14-year-old girl on his team and convincing her to send nude images and videos, reports KIRO 7 TV. Auburn PD spokesperson Colby Crossley says he could face 3 felony sex charges.
This is something we do not take lightly ever when it comes to sex crimes against juveniles.
The teen allegedly told a teacher about the messaging, and that teacher reported up the chain, leading to the arrest. In a notice to families, school officials said the suspect is no longer an employee. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
A former Sumner high school coach has been sentenced to 40 years for sexually abusing 8 players. KIRO 7 TV was in court when one of Jacob Jackson's victims said Jackson took his youth.
My innocence, my sense of security, and my ability to simply exist as a teenager without fear or shame.
Jackson coached between 2016 and 2022. A group of Gig Harbor parents is considering suing the Peninsula School District after the popular principal at their children's elementary school was moved to a different school. Minter Elementary PTO President Jessica Gamble.
The kids and parents are devastated. We're deeply concerned about how this impacts our kids' education moving forward.
The district says reassigning principals is standard practice. Governor Bob Ferguson is warning Democrats who control the legislature that their budget relies too heavily on raising taxes. He says that's risky in the face of federal budget cuts. More from KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get without saying the word. But this is a great indication that, well, we may be head for that special session if we can't get the governor and the Democrats to agree.
The current legislative session ends in 9 days, and the state still needs to find a way to fix a projected $16 billion budget gap. The Seattle Mariners rally late in Cincinnati, coming back in the ninth inning thanks to home runs.
Back-to-backers by Cal Raleigh and Randy Arozarena. We are tied at 7.
The M's went on to win it in extra innings 11-7. They start a 3-game series against the Blue Jays in Toronto this afternoon. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today with highs around 70. It's 56 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
25. And so I look like I could be a cruise director.
Did you wear?
I have a navy blue jacket, and I realize, and white pants.
Yeah.
And a white top. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I could be on a cruise boat.
Did you wear this outfit because you knew we were going to be on YouTube? Because there's a lot of
actually.
Yeah, a lot of people hanging out on YouTube, y'all.
Better that than a Metro bus driver.
This is true. Charlie's a Metro bus driver, and I'm a cruise director. And Gee, you look like you belong in the Mariners.
Hey,
Sweet.
Shout out to the Mariners. The Mariners are rolling. By the way, are you all on the bandwagon now?
You certainly are.
Oh, yeah.
It's starting to rub off. I'm
Okay.
starting to think I need to get myself to a game right after I also get myself into the line for Real ID. I got a lot of things I need to get done.
Okay. By the way, my wife had to go to the DMV, had to go do all that, DOL or whatever, and yeah, it's packed.
Okay.
A lot of people trying to get their Real ID. All right. Agree to disagree. Brought to you by Garden Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
Imagine if you could walk around the whole Seattle Center, maybe Pike Place Market or a farmer's market in the city, all of Pioneer Square perhaps, with an alcoholic beverage in your hand, and it would be completely legal. Well, that is something that the legislature has made legal, at least until 2027. So in the past, you would normally have to rope off an area. You've got a little beer garden, but they're opening it up, allowing venues to share beverage service. And this is all to promote, I guess, more lucrative sales during the World Cup event when it comes next summer. And at this point, the legislature is going to consider after the World Cup, hey, do we extend this or we just cut it off in 2027? Do you think we should have expanded service areas for alcohol?
No, keep it the same. Keep them alcohol stuff inside. I don't want, this ain't New Orleans, this ain't Vegas. We're not ready for something like that. Well, first of all, do we have enough police officers? Do we have right now a shortage of police officers here? Yes or no?
We have a shortage.
Okay, so if we got a shortage, we don't have the police officers to maintain the problems that would occur from having alcohol outside.
I think you make a great point, G, but I like the idea of why not give it a shot, see what happens, see whether it has the vibe and effect that you want it to have, and if it doesn't, then don't continue it.
Okay.
But I like the idea of making Seattle specifically, but just that much better. And here, this comes from someone who doesn't even drink.
I know.
But I like the vibe that they're trying to achieve, and if it doesn't cause all sorts of problems, I wouldn't have a problem trying it at least.
So if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again?
Possibly.
Yep.
Have they tried this?
Here? No. I mean, it's incredibly common in Europe where
Exactly.
you have the sidewalk cafes that spill out onto the street. You can walk around in Vegas, New Orleans with beverages. Yes. That's like a party town. My only concern would be that you would get the kind of, vibe of the pregame before the football game. Like, do you really want to have that vibe everywhere? But I think adults are generally responsible, No. What?
No, they're not. No, they're not.
What do you mean? You don't think adults are generally responsible?
No.
Why?
When I go to sporting events, which is a lot, the people that I see causing the most trouble are usually drunk adults.
Sure. I acknowledge that. Yes. But if you have 3 restaurants that, have a sidewalk and they're all serving outside, I don't see the issue. I think that you think adults are generally irresponsible because it's a special vibe, like at a stadium, Seahawks game. People get nuts there. But if you're serving a couple beers or wine outside, who cares?
There is a reason why during sporting events they cut off alcohol at a certain time. If they trusted adults to do the right thing with alcohol, then they would serve alcohol all the way through the game, through the Mariner game, through the Seahawk game. There's a reason why they cut off alcohol sales.
Good point.
How about this though? Maybe it's just that sports fans happen to be more irresponsible than the rest of society. Would you say that's perhaps accurate?
No, I'm going to go with my first thought.
How does Vegas do it, or how does New Orleans do it, or how do some of these? How do European cities do it?
Let's talk about Vegas and Clark County. I don't know if people know this, and they need to know. Vegas is extremely strict when it comes to consequences. Vegas, it ain't Seattle. Seattle, oh, well, he had a hard time. He grew up in a rough neighborhood. In Vegas, they playing no games. Mess around and get arrested in Vegas and find out. I'm for real now. They ain't playing no games. When you go back to Vegas, Ursula?
I was just there 2 weeks ago. Not for a while. I need to recover.
You or your bank account?
Financially.
Okay, got it.
Barbara says, I got my license enhanced in Oak Harbor on Whidbey Island. There was no line, no waiting at all. Was about 11 a.m. on a Friday.
There you go. Thank you.
Go check out
Great
Deception
tip.
Pass. Beautiful weather. If you don't know, we are up on YouTube Live right now. You can join the chat.
Yeah.
We're embracing the technology revolution. But there is a debate in schools going on right now. I saw this in GeekWire about whether kids learn better and which they prefer, tablets or textbooks. Now, Ursula, do you think it's better for kids to have the tablet, the computer, or do you think books, like actual textbooks, are better for kids?
It makes me sad that many kids will not know what it feels like to actually hold an actual book or smell the new pages as you go page by page and read an actual book. It makes me sad that they're not going to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, our kids today really start with a tablet at such a young age that I don't see it going back necessarily, other than for nostalgic reasons.
Mm-hmm.
My thing would be, can you get it so that they don't have so many other distractions and they use their tablet purely for the schoolwork versus everything else?
Mm-hmm.
Or for pleasure reading.
Back in my day, we only. I think that please continue with the textbooks. The books are so important. You have an opportunity to actually get down and busy and learning. When you have these distractions, I mean, like, I'm not even. Could you imagine me being a kid right now?
No.
Like, I barely concentrate.
Well, can I imagine? Yes, I can actually imagine. And I think it would be so you would just be bouncing.
I'd be
off the walls.
Yes.
It would be very hard for you, and you would be. There would be, gee, what are you looking at?
This happens.
Gee, you need to spend less time on YouTube.
My son is going through this right now. I've had like 3 emails from the teacher that's like, Matthew has been spending a lot of time on websites that he's not supposed to be on. I'm like,
oh,
how does he even have access to websites he shouldn't be on?
Right?
And the teacher can see what every kid is looking at, but still, I'm like, why is he allowed to do that?
Tell you what, there's some marriages right now with fellas having access to websites that they shouldn't be on either.
This is true.
I think that's a gender equal situation, right?
Nah,
women?
Nah, a sweeping statement. Men are more the problem in that area than women.
I think you just have more guy friends that maybe spill the tea to you than I don't know.
Okay, just you're talking about men spending time looking at porn is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying it's a bigger
I thought
problem.
you meant like
Yes.
Tinder.
It's a bigger problem. Nobody's going to argue that, right?
No.
Okay.
All right. Gee, Easter is this weekend.
Yes, it is.
And you've been asking folks on YouTube Live what they're cooking. What is the ultimate protein? What does the main dish for Easter have to be?
So someone said it in the chat, and I poo-pooed it. But first, the safe bet on Easter for everyone across the United States is ham. Even though I'm not a fan of ham, that is like the go-to for Easter. Me It's a prime rib.
I was going to say prime rib.
Prime rib. But this Sunday, for me, is going to be some dino beef ribs. And by the way, y'all, if you haven't had dino beef ribs, you got to spark your life to get your life together and get you some dino beef ribs.
Mm-hmm. You need a big grill for those things, too.
Yeah,
Because it's a Fresh Friday, can I do a sweeping statement?
Yes. Ursula? Prepare thyself.
Wait a minute. Let me sit down. Ursula's got a sweeping statement.
I don't even know how to pose the sweeping statement. I just want to say ham never tastes good.
What?
Except the next day on some white bread.
Slathered with what?
With either Miracle Whip or mayonnaise.
No, Miracle Whip. Shame on you.
Well, I grew up Miracle Whip.
I know, but you don't like it as an adult.
No, not anymore. No.
Yeah.
But
okay, but
how can you say ham is bad?
Ham to me, whenever it's served, is a disappointment. It's just I cannot think of a single meal where I said, "My God, that ham was just delicious." Can you?
I would.
Never.
Okay, here's what I would.
No, you're right. Your sweeping statement. First of all, how did it feel?
It was liberating.
You know what? Actually, I will largely agree with you because the majority of ham in this country is like this, water-soaked, cured stuff that's brined with preservatives and all kinds of crap. But if you have an actual Virginia smokehouse ham, like a whole shank that's been salted, dug in a barrel of salt for, about a month, and then they hang it up in the wood shack and they smoke it for about a week, and then you just carve off pieces of that thing all winter long. Like, that's what I want. The real ham.
Okay.
So a lot of Will Branch in the live chat on YouTube says lamb chops. I have yet to make lamb chops. Stonewell is coming with oxtails. By the way, that is nice. And somebody also, Pork Zombie wants to know, hey, G, why it got to be white bread? What are you saying? Okay. No. I'm being really serious right now. There are certain sandwiches. There are certain things that you eat
Grilled
that
cheese.
oh my goodness, that are so good with white bread.
It's true.
I mean,
and can I just tell you one of the best breads I've discovered? Unfortunately, it's very expensive.
What's that?
But the croissant bread that you can buy. You've seen me. I don't even eat a lot of bread.
That's your jam.
But you can get it at QFC. You can get it at Met Market. It's a croissant bread. Oh, my gosh. For a grilled cheese sandwich, forget about it.
Sometimes
peanut butter and
So
jelly.
Good. Oh, my gosh.
Growing up, even to this day, to get a nice cheeseburger on some white bread, oh, yeah.
Cheeseburger on white bread?
Cheeseburger and hot dogs on white bread. Sometimes it gets right to the point. You just gotta, it's like having just a little bit of bread. Sometimes you have bread, it takes too long. You've been chewing for like 5 minutes. You need that white bread, gets it just right to the point. Pow.
Yeah.
Okay, now everyone's making us hungry because you know what? Tom said hazelnut crusted rack of lamb.
Mm.
And then a few people are pointing out that I've never had a honey baked ham.
I mean, I've had it.
I have had it.
Yeah.
And that was better than other hams, I will say.
None of that spiral cut stuff. It dries it out.
Exactly. I think it's because I've had to choke down too many dry slabs of ham.
Gee, you ever smoke a lamb shoulder?
No, I have not.
Ooh, yeah. You got to get some some Mexican or Cuban spice on there and smoke it, or you can do it, with like the Middle Eastern spices. That's a good classic one for Easter too. All right. Are you guys serving dessert? And if you are, cake or pie? What's better, cake or pie, G?
Cake.
What?
Cake.
What cake? What kind of cake?
Lately, it's been Lillian's loaf cakes, but
this is true.
Man, you just do it not to drop a plug in on the radio.
My bad. I'm a chocolate cake fan. That's my thing. I don't know why Costco doesn't do it anymore. You guys remember Costco used to have that chocolate cake that was, it was so much chocolate you can kind of feel a little buzz in your head.
Yes.
It was so much sugar. How about you? Cake or pie?
I like, as a more, I want to say veteran adult, as I get up in years, I'm enjoying pie more and more, and I'm finding more pie. But the pie for me has to have ice cream. And I'll be honest, at this point in my life, I don't get into desserts as much. And I have found that every time I buy a cake, there's always leftover cake.
Yes.
Like, what is the deal with that? It's like, it seems like when you go to birthday parties, you know how many people just reject? I'm kind of at the point of, is it time to just be done with cake?
Yes.
You know what? Right now in my refrigerator, my birthday cake is right. You are so.
That's last week.
Ursula.
I bought a cake for your birthday party.
Yeah.
Here. And there was leftover cake.
I don't know that I've ever heard anybody with that hot take. That right there. No, the cake is always left over in the house.
The only reason most adults eat the cake at the birthday party is because they feel obligated to take a break.
Facts.
Like, I'm going to join it. Okay, fine. But it's just wasted calories.
You know what? I'm done with cakes. You are so right.
And if I'm going to do a cake, my favorite kind of cake, now this is going to turn a lot of people off, and you're probably going to disagree with me, but my favorite kind of cake is one that comes, the box cake, the Duncan Hines, and then that frosting that comes from the can. I don't know why.
No. Yeah, that's a good cake. That's a good cake.
But if I'm going to do cake, I like that one.
Can I ask y'all something?
Yeah.
Basically, Chef, this is really specific to your delegation. Lynn on the YouTube chat says cucumber sandwiches on white bread. My childhood memory.
Those are like
cucumber sandwich,
English sandwiches,
like finger sandwiches.
Like the finger sandwiches.
Oh, is that an English sandwich?
Like if you go to Victoria, BC, and eat at the Empress Hotel, that's those little bitty sandwiches. They have cucumbers.
Yeah.
Sometimes they put smoked salmon on them.
Yes.
A little dill. Maybe
it's actually
some cream
very
cheese.
fresh and delicious.
Yeah, that's nice.
And also inexpensive.
I'm so done with cakes now. That was the best take. Right now in my refrigerator is the birthday cake. And by the way, the birthday cake wasn't that big. And Chef's right also, you feel obligated to have that piece of cake.
It's basically an opportunity to put candles, blow out the candles, and have a picture with a beautiful cake.
2 exceptions, though. Even though it's like early 90s, the molten chocolate cakes, those are good. If you give me a good filling like lemon curd with a cream cheese frosting, sign me up.
Oh my gosh, Tomorrow agrees with me. Duncan Hines all the way box cake.
It is good. Nah, it's good. All right. What? I don't know what's coming up.
We're going to
next.
talk about coyotes.
Oh!
And I'm not going to share my coyote story again, but we're going to talk about how a bunch of people are seeing coyotes.
Yeah.
In one particular neighborhood.
Shout out to the West. We'll talk about it next. Gee Ursula.
KIRO Newsradio doesn't just report the news. We help you make sense of it.
People in this area, they have us. We can keep this guy honest. That's our job.
New media is leaving the old guard behind. Yes.
We provide the analysis and context you need to stay ahead in these fast-paced times.
That man is still on the loose, and Everett police are searching for him.
Seattle Public Schools look to boost graduation rates by 10% over the next 5 years.
Stay tuned with KIRO Newsradio, where you'll find out why.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic is your best plan for long-term well-being and personalized health care. Dr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. How long have some of your patients been working with you?
And we've got patients now that have been with us for over 20 years that are in their 90s who came to us in their 60s. The grandparents now in their 90s are living independently. They're not on walkers, they're not on canes, they're not headed for nursing homes.
I meet people and they ask about, wow, you're in great shape. You have 12% body fat and stuff. What's the secret? I said, it's not a secret. Longevity Medical Clinic has been there for 25 years. There is no secret to the fact that if you make those small changes, you avoid the big, bad, horrible stuff that most of us just think, well, this is what's supposed to happen to me.
And if you're heading downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to continue going downhill. And what we do at Longevity is we redirect you and we take you back up the hill.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Hey, I want to tell you a sellwithwes.com success story. Wes Jones knows how important your home sale can be for your future
future plans. So when he got a call from Susan in Federal Way, he was eager to step up and help her sell her home of 25 years.
Her house was her biggest asset, and this home sale was super meaningful for her. So she's like, I know that I'm leaving money on the table in the condition that it's in. Like, what can we do?
I told him up front that I did not have the time or finances to do what needed to be done. And he immediately jumped in with, well, I do.
He told her about their Listing Boost concierge service.
We identified probably 4 or 5 major things.
It just was all so fast. They did everything.
I'm a son of a builder, and I've done a lot of flips over the years. So this is work that we actually like to do. We are seeking this out.
And I would just tell anybody, here's his phone number, give him a call. He'll take care of it.
So if you're in the market to sell your home, do what Susan did. Check out Wes Jones and his team at sellwithwes.com. Sell with Wes, a better way to sell your home.
Hey there, Dawn Riding with Olympic Hot Tub. Swimming your way to a healthier you is now easier and more affordable than ever with an Endless Pool Swim Spa. During our spring savings event, save up to $9,000 on an Endless Pools package and get a free gift bundle including a Bluetooth sound system worth up to $3,200. Don't miss out. Ends April 13th. More at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub. In the market for a new car, Carter Subaru has the vehicle you've been searching for with over 300 new ones in stock, including the 2025 Outback now with 2.9% financing for 36 months, or go electric with the 2025 Solterra EV, 0% APR for 72 months on approved credit. Shop with the Carter Subaru Advantage and enjoy valet parking at their Ballard dealership and at-home delivery across all locations.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 4/30/25.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Christians around the world are commemorating Good Friday today. At the Vatican, Pope Francis continues to recover from double pneumonia. It's unclear if he'll participate in Easter services Sunday. Vigils are planned today at Florida State University, where police say a student opened fire yesterday, killing 2 people and injuring 6. No motive for the shooting's been made public. The 20-year-old suspect was shot and taken into custody. The U.S. Supreme Court plans to hear arguments in May over the federal court rulings that blocked President Trump's order ending birthright citizenship. One of those orders came from a federal judge in Seattle.
Republican and Democratic administrations have long opposed this idea that one federal judge can set policy for the entire country.
CBS's Jan Crawford says that's essentially what the justices will be debating, not whether Trump can stop babies born in the U.S. from automatically becoming citizens regardless of their parents' status.
All the lower courts are in agreement that Trump is wrong.
Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank says he'll fight the county council's plan to reaffirm sanctuary status that protects immigrants. Swank tells KTTH he was not consulted.
But they're going to pass a resolution that doubles down on Keep Washington Working, which I believe is unconstitutional.
He says he may also join a controversial federal immigration enforcement program. At least 23 international students at the University of Washington have had their visas suddenly revoked. University officials tell KIRO 7 TV they were not warned ahead of time. They're urging affected students to contact International Student Services immediately. The Washington State Senate just passed an across-the-board 50% hike in every type of liquor license in the state.
That affects every brewery, winery, bar, nightclub, grocery store, even day spas that serve alcohol. Supporters say some fees haven't seen an increase in 40 years. $18 million could be raised over the next 2 years. Opponents say this will hurt already cash-strapped small business still recovering from pandemic closures. The bill now heads to the House, where it'll need to move quickly if Democrats want to use it to plug the state's budget hole before the session ends on April 27th. Matt Markovich, KIRO News Radio.
The markets are closed this Good Friday. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, you have a couple of slow spots due to construction. On State Route 18, you're pumping brakes from Tiger Mountain up to I-90. On southbound I-5 near JBLM, you're backed up from north of the Stillicum-DuPont Road to Tillicum. Travel time Tacoma to Olympia is 45 minutes. That's about 15 longer than usual. Traffic brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Get up to $6,000 in rebates plus save 10% on heat pumps through April. HomeComfortAlliance.com. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today with highs around 70. It's 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. If you are watching us on YouTube, Gee is making all sorts of new friends on there.
Yeah, here's what's cool about it. Again, if you have an opportunity, go to the YouTube channel, the KIRO, the 97.3 FM KIRO News Radio page. The Gee and Ursula Show is live right now. You see Heather here in the studio. You see Chef, myself, Ursula. But what's really cool about it is there's a community right now that's forming. I've thought over the last 5.5 years that the Gee and Ursula Show community is a special community, right?
For sure.
KIRO Radio community is special, but there's just something about the Gee and Ursula Show. Well, for everybody to be interactive and hanging out inside of here, it's almost like you are getting to meet people. We say your names on social media, on the air, and then you're getting to find out what they look like. It's just pretty cool.
That is really cool. So, like I said, it's kind of our own little dating pool in the event that some of you are single. because we had a bunch of people text in and say, I'd sign up for that. Someone said 47 years old from Everett or something to that effect.
No, nobody wants to come inside of the live chat and find their significant other.
I'm going to disagree with that. You know what? If you suddenly vibe with someone, again, if you're single, I'm just going to say, if you see the same people in there, why it's like a virtual community that, you know what? It's a free dating app. How's that? Okay. I think I'm the only one. So hard. I'm the only one marketing it that way. Okay, let's talk about coyotes. Why don't we?
Okay.
Because the coyote sightings in West Seattle are continuing, and it's not just happening at night.
It's been walking around and in the middle of the day, which is really unusual.
As Danielle Robbins with Hazelwood Preschool, and she tells Fox 13 she's really worried about the small kids that she takes care of because their playground is right next to a wooded area.
It's a wild animal, so we have to be careful and make sure the kids are safe, so that's our main priority.
So the teachers, Gee, have been trained what to do if they spot a coyote, and now they carry whistles to scare them away. But dozens of people have reported sightings to the West Seattle blog. And some folks are saying that the coyotes are actually staring them down.
Come on.
Or even following them. I'm not going to share my whole coyote story, but I've seen how that happens, and it's scary as you know what. And despite all these concerns, Robbins does not want the wild creatures harmed.
We know that the coyotes are here. They're not trying to hurt people. We've displaced them. This is where they are at. And so, we don't want the coyotes to be hurt or anything like that. It just is dangerous when there's a lot of kids around. Just keep your eye out for them.
So what to do?
I can see it now. This is happening in West Seattle, right? I mean, we are actually, how are we supposed to feel safe? How are we supposed to feel safe knowing that coyotes are following kids as if they are on some nature documentary? Let me tell you what's going to happen. I can see it now. A lot of the... I was going to say something else, but I can see it now. We're going to see what's next. We're going to have wild coyotes serving on the PTA. We need to really just show them that they belong. And they're going to be these coyotes on the PTA as if they should have a say in what happens to the school. Now, I think it's fascinating to see our wildlife, no doubt, wildlife, adopting, urban life and all that. But we got to be cautious, y'all.
Are you having a whale moment at the moment?
No.
Okay, so
I like this topic.
You want coyotes to be on the PTA?
No, that's not what I said. What I said is I can see it now.
Oh.
At some point, 50 years
they're
from now,
going to have a voice too?
Wild coyotes are going to have a voice, and there's going to be somebody that stands up for them to be on the PTA.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so why don't we talk about what goes on today, though, because it is happening more and more in these neighborhoods. You're a nut. I'm just going to try to reel you back in.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I wish... And I only wish that you would encounter it because I'd want to hear the story about it.
Okay.
But I wish you would encounter a coyote.
Is this scary?
And I want to know what you would do. I mean, because I had the. Yeah, what would you do? What would be your first instinct?
First of all, we've all seen scary movies. You know what we do in the scary movies, and you know what y'all do in the scary movies.
I ran.
We run.
I ran, and that was the wrong thing to do.
You guys are like, is there anybody in here? Do I hear anything? That's why you're always the first to get... No, they always kill the brother in the scary movies first. Y'all ever know that? Even though we first to run, they kill us first.
So you shouldn't run.
You're setting me up for a line that I just refuse to go over.
I think that our segments about what to do when you encounter dangerous wild animals is probably one of our most expert segments on the show.
Whatever we say, you need to do the opposite of. So I told you that I ran. That's not what you're supposed to do. I did eventually come to my senses and stopped, turned around, and started yelling and screaming. And the coyote finally lost interest. But it is scary when you're talking about with kids. And I think there is a dilemma because as she mentioned, they were there first.
I just
stop. Whoever's feeding them, stop feeding them.
I can see it now. I know we're not allowed to call anybody. We don't do it on the show. We don't allow to call anybody Karen. I'm not saying that, okay? But I'm just saying that I can see it now, somebody going up to the coyote and say, how dare you be in this neighborhood? How dare you? Get away.
But you know what? If they give that energy to the coyote, it might actually stop the coyote in their tracks. So that might not actually be a bad thing.
Also, is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah.
If you come,
it's okay to be a Karen at that point. Tell the coyote you're not welcome right here.
Okay. By the way,
but say it with a very ferocious voice.
Could you? But is there any possible way that you can see a coyote being invited to be a part of the PTA in the future?
No, I don't even know where you went. You've been watching too many cartoons.
Could be like a school mascot, though, right? By the way, if you do see them this time of year, it's because they're pupping. They have pups, and so they're watching you to make sure, like, oh, are you going to get near my pups? And that's what they're doing. I also don't think we should have an expectation that we have no wildlife encounters.
This is true. But you just need to know what to do.
Okay.
Be prepared.
By the way, I just want you to know, this was not a well moment. I was really into this topic. As a matter of fact, I was the one that suggested this topic.
Janet in the 206 says, Old Yeller hates Wile E. Coyote. Both can be rabbits, so look out.
Joni in the 253 says, Ursula, find me a match. No, she for real did say that.
No, she's not the only one. I'm telling you. I think I'm onto something.
Chef, would you trust Ursula to set you? I mean, let's say you weren't married. Would you trust Ursula to set you up?
Heck yeah. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Look, us fellas, we can take any of the help that we can get. Okay? So, yeah.
You know what? That's true.
Is the answer for you, heck no? Because I can guarantee you, I will tell you when you come to my party, when you come to my birthday party, I'm going to tell you, if you were single, these are the people I know that you would be interested in.
You know what I want to hear, Ursula? I want to hear how you would explain G or myself to your friend. Like, oh, I got to tell you about my friend. He's single. How would you finish that for G? To make him both sound enticing?
Entertaining. You need to stay on your toes.
All right, real quick before we get out of this segment. Let me tell you why I wouldn't want Ursula setting me up. I'm afraid at what she would say to them. She would say, I don't. You might not. He might be too much for you. You know what I mean?
If I felt that way, I wouldn't do the setup. I would only match you with someone I think could keep you on your toes.
Someone that deserved him.
Like, you know what? Can I just can I tell you, guys, a quick 30-second story that bothers me still to this day? So my friend, AJ, who was coaching my son, right? He and his wife, they knew Lillian before I did, right? Not one time did they think to set me up with Lillian. As a matter of fact, they had other people to set up with Lillian. They never once suggested me.
Wait,
to this day, I look at my friends AJ and Sarah different.
They're mutual friends with you?
AJ,
they're separately, some of their best friends.
AJ and Sarah, my friend, they knew Lillian before me.
Yes.
But they knew me also.
Yes.
Not one time did they say, you know what, our friend G would be a good idea. And to this day, I look at the Jacksons and I look at them and I'm like, you guys really ain't my friend. Because if you were my friend, you would have suggested me for Lillian in the first place. But now they would say, oh, what a great idea it is. More to Gee and Ursula Show.
If that story were true, the last part about it, about them not being your friends, I wouldn't have met them and I wouldn't see them at every party.
Okay.
And I wouldn't see you texting with Sarah.
I took it too far. I took it too far, but I do look at them and think about it.
Oh, that's funny.
More to Gee and Ursula Show next.
This Easter, we invite you to share your egg-siding creations with us. Hartley Wilcox here. Submit your beautifully decorated Easter egg photos to our Wilcox Family Farms Facebook page and join the community in celebrating this joyous holiday. For over a century, our farm-fresh eggs have been a part of your cherished traditions. From our family to yours, we wish you a happy and colorful Easter filled with love, joy, and delicious Wilcox eggs. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, windows can be one of the best investments you can make to add value to your home. At Dunn Lumber, we have designated Marvin window specialists who have been trained by Marvin to best serve your needs. If you need help finding the right windows for your home, come by one of our 4 Dunn Lumber window showrooms or reach out to me personally, Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building success together.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at ProSculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's ProSculpt.com.
It's John Curley for Window Nation. You know, April is a great time to spruce up around the house, especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. You could pay nothing up until 2027, and they'll include a free entry door, too. Why do I trust Window Nation? Because they partner with Milgard in Tacoma to build top quality windows to their highest standards, and they back them with a lifetime warranty. Hurry, sale ends soon, so don't wait to schedule your estimate at 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com.
It's a new year, but many seniors are struggling with the same old problem: high prices and rising property taxes. We're here with our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage, and he says a reverse mortgage may be the answer.
Many seniors cannot afford to stay in the home they love. A reverse mortgage gives them access to equity in their home without having to sell. They can pay off their mortgage if they have one and maybe pull some extra cash out of their home. And best of all, they have no mortgage payment the rest of their life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Guys, thinking about testosterone replacement therapy? Revive Men's Health can help you get started if you're ready to book your free T-check. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. That's Revive, R-E-V-I-B-E, menshealth.com.
The preseason AC sale is on now at Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. This month only, keep your home cool and your wallet comfortable with 15% off. Plus, free financing on all air conditioners, heat pumps, and ductless systems. Trust the team voted best in the Pacific Northwest and call Bob's today for your free estimate. Hurry, the discount reduces to 10% off in May. Call Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
It's the Gee and Ursula Show. Okay, I just want to say that here's the thing. A lot of people agreeing that they would let Ursula set them up.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm not going to be so. I agree. I would. The thing is that I don't think Ursula, if let's just say Lillian and Ursula were friends, I just don't think Ursula would have set me up with Lillian the same way the Jacksons. And matter of fact, Sarah, the wife, didn't really know me. She'd only met me one time. So it's really on my dude, AJ, who really did me dirty. Like he, and the crazy part is they were willing to set her up with others.
Other people.
Like they didn't even think think about me? Like, what am I, trash? Hey, wait a minute. And the crazy thing is my son was one of the top players on his team.
Oh, seriously?
Gee, they just know that you come with a disclaimer, like, use at your own risk.
You know what? The thing is I just want to tell them, my wife saw more in me than they did.
Oh, there you go. And credit to Lillian.
I know.
I love her.
She found a diamond in a very, very, I'd argue it's still rough.
Off the air. Okay, let's just, I asked you.
Yeah.
I said, knowing G from the old G especially.
Yeah.
Would you recommend your daughter date someone like old G?
Okay.
And what did you say?
I said no. I said no. But can I just say this though? The G at that time, right there, yes. Because that G was really like I was work and about traveling with sports, and I was just really locked in. So that was really a moment. So that G, yes. Any other G? Hell no.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, we're on YouTube Live, and you can chat with all of our other listeners. And Richard is needing to adjust to all this. He said, wait a minute, I just got used to the text line. We're not doing away with the text line, by the way.
We're still on the text line.
Very important.
Yeah. But your text messages, you see it, and only us on the YouTube chat, everybody sees what you say.
Which is good and bad.
A Pierce County sheriff might start going after illegal immigrants because the Pierce County Council reaffirmed their sanctuary policies. Kevin in the 425 says, am I allowed to say that? Okay. The sheriff is just hurt. He wasn't included by the council on their resolution, so it's to relax. So he's to relax, so have conversations with them and not air it out in public. He's showing he's pretty insecure. To which I'll tell you, Kevin, you know what, man? We should try to get on the executive, right, of Pierce County, or we should try to get somebody from the council to talk about this, because I would like to hear what they have to say, because the sheriff says that he wasn't included. He didn't know anything.
Rob in Puyallup says he's worried about getting dragged out of his office at gunpoint. So Keith Swank is afraid of the same things that he wants to subject others to. Then that could happen to him.
That's a very good point. Nick says the victimhood and persecution complex with these people. Could somebody tell this dude it's not his place to enforce federal immigration laws, especially if the council directed him not to?
Graffiti taggers are now running a cleanup crew in Seattle. Jesus in Tacoma says this dude found a way to tap into the public funds. He knows he can keep getting paid because taggers are going to keep tagging. It was a good business model, I must say.
Yeah. Let's see. Ursula won't go and eat at the new when it comes the egg slut that's going to be opening up. 206 says, I'm with Ursula. Show some class with your business name, please.
Tyson from the 808 says the only restaurant name that concerns me is Cracker Barrel. What?
Is that?
Come on.
And Doug in Mount Vernon wants us to lose our license, so we're not even going to try to do that one.
I mean, what, you can't say that?
Go ahead if you want to pronounce it the way you're supposed to.
Doug in Mount Vernon.
Oh, no.
Nah. It's a fuss restaurant, and they want you to say something else.
Yes.
And so, like, let's just say someone's the king, right? The king of something.
Uh-huh.
Put it all together. I ain't saying it. I don't want to get no fines for this company.
There's no dump button on the YouTube feed, is there?
Oh.
Yeah, but I think there's words.
We can't get in trouble with that, though.
Yeah, I think there's words that already automatically can't get it in there.
Yeah.
All right, Ursula, it's time for your words to live by. What you got for us today?
I'm actually going to quote Melinda Gates, because you were saying, I'd like to be a matchmaker. And I think one of the most important things in life is human connection and connecting others.
Yeah.
And Melinda Gates says, deep human connection is the purpose and the result of a meaningful life. And it will inspire the most amazing acts of love, generosity, and humanity.
All right.
Never too old to meet new people.
That's very true. Ursula, I'm already looking forward to your party.
Which is not till August, but I'm securing the location today.
Okay.
Right after the show.
Yeah, I can't wait. There's someone couldn't find it, please help. Just go find KIRO News Radio on YouTube, and there you will see all of the shows. And by the way, on KIRO News Radio YouTube page, every show is going to be on there. So Seattle's Morning News, Gee and Ursula, Jake and Spike, John Curley, all of the shows are going to be there during that time. Ursula loves it when I'm a company, man. Anyways,
I almost want to give you a hug right now.
Have a good weekend, Ursula. Chef, you got baseball this weekend, man?
Oh, game at 7 tonight. It's going to be fun. It's a first game of kid pitch. It's going to be wild.
I miss those days. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. The Jake and Spike Show, they're coming in next. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great Easter. Have fun with your families. And you know what? You guys are family to us, so we'll talk to you again next week. Appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Tune in to The Money Professor with Chris Longworth.
Having some certainty about your plan is definitely going to give you all the advantages.
Chris has the heart of an educator.
If you really want to do this correctly, then you get to enjoy every day of retirement like it's a Saturday. And if you don't, it's a Monday for the rest of your life.
Tune in to The Money Professor with Chris Longworth, Saturdays at 8 a.m. right here on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Parango and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump.